Good afternoon and welcome to Alumni Stadium in Dover, Delaware for today's MEAC Digital Network broadcast on ESPN3, featuring the Hornets of Delaware State University hosting the Bison of Howard University. Hello again, everyone. I'm Gary Lang and I'm joined by Mike Walker, and we'll be back with the start of today's game in a moment.
Got the series numbers.
From Open State of doneness. So let's get after it. What would you like the power to do?
And horrible weather conditions. Weather conditions here today are absolutely perfect. You couldn't ask for any better. Nick Ferris will be set to kick off here for Howard University as they set the ball on the near side hash mark, not out at the X on the middle of the 35-yard line. And this game is underway. Glad you're with us. It will go all the way into the end zone and be brought out by Kawana Kali. Finds a little bit of an opening, breaks a tackle at the 18-yard line, out to the 30-yard line, and out of bounds there. Good return by Kawana Kali. Wondered when he went a couple of yards deep in the end zone whether or not he would down it there, but he brought it out for a good return. We have a marker on the play.
That was a gutsy call and decision by him, Gary, but I like it. You know, he's pretty much trying to set the tone that the team's going to be aggressive at every phase of the game.
And we'll get the call here. Could be an early penalty against Howard. We saw on the play one of the players' helmets had come off. But rather than stand to the side, he continued to participate in the play. That got the penalty for Howard, or Delaware State, I'm sorry. It was a Hornet who lost the helmet. Set the ball back 15 yards. Rather than starting at the 30, they'll start back at their own 16-yard line.
One of those penalties where you just kind of shake your head because, you know, even though the kid's helmet popped off, he still wanted to be involved in the play. I don't blame his instincts. Unfortunately, when your helmet comes off and you try to still participate, that is a penalty.
Here come the Hornets. Quarterback Tyleek Bethea, the freshman, out of the shotgun for Delaware State. Hands off on first down. They'll run it up the middle, and they're still grinding for yardage out across the 20 in the vicinity of the 21-yard line. Finally, whistles blowing. They didn't stop that play any too early.
Looks like another penalty on
a penalty marker down there around the 20-yard line. But a good gain on the play. All right, so they'll put it back at the 16-yard line, step off 5 yards, which should put the ball on the 21. We'll wait to see where they actually do set it down. And it is the 21-yard line. It'll be 1st and 5 for the Hornets. It was Bryant Dallas on the carry for Delaware State as he stands in the backfield next to his quarterback, Tyleek Bethea. Dallas now splits away from Bethea a little bit to the right side. In passing formation with 1st and 5, and the intended receiver got slowed up a little bit. It looked like he was going to go down the field to Charles Peeler. Peeler got blocked up a little bit coming out there on that post pattern.
Delaware State University showing a very aggressive side of their pass game, going vertical very early in the game. All 3 patterns were vertical in nature, nothing short for the dump off, so that was intended to be a home run pass right there.
You like the call on 1st and 5, though. 1st and short yardage, go for it. Now you have 2nd down and 5, and that's not a bad situation. Bethea from the gun, hands it off to Dallas. Dallas, big hole in the middle, breaks a tackle at the 30-yard line, across the 35, out to the 40-yard line for Delaware State.
Offensive coordinator Eric Day, this is what he wanted to establish early, that run game. He likes to bang inside the tackles. He likes to soften up that part of the defense. He thinks it does a better job of setting up that pass game.
Establish the line of scrimmage on a warm day and start to wear down that defense very early. 1st and 10, Hornets from their own 40-yard line. And again, Bethea in the gun has 2 split out on the right side, 1 on the left. They'll run it with Dallas. He'll take it out around right tackle, cut it upfield, and come down around the 45-yard line as he runs into his blocker and a tackler. 5-yard gain, 2nd and 5.
That's a good job on first down, Gary. You just want to pick up a minimum of 4 yards on any run play because that at the very least is considered a successful play. And right now, I think Delaware State feels really good about running that ball inside the tackles and outside as well.
Dallas remains in the backfield for the Hornets with the quarterback Bethea. Snap, handoff, Dallas into the middle, has a little bit of a hole, manages to push forward out to around the 48-yard line, and that's where it'll stack up and slow him down.
Howard stiffening a little bit inside of those tackles, not giving those big gaping holes for Dallas Bryant to jump all in through. But at the end of the day, it's one of those short situations for Delaware State University. Good options here. Got a quarterback who can run, got a great arm, and they can still run the ball potentially.
Dallas, a native of Marietta, Georgia, started off his collegiate career at Shorter College, played for the Hawks in that Gulf South Division II conference. Fake handoff, quarterback keeper, and it's Bethea into Howard territory. First down Hornets at the Bison 43.
You know, Bethea is still young in the game. He's learning the offense. You know, I like his skill set. This is a kid who can run the ball, but you can tell he's really trying to define and establish himself as a passer first, runner second.
No huddle offense, back to the line of scrimmage for the gun. Bethea into the middle, complete to the 35-yard line as the Hornets just keep grinding it out and moving the ball on each play.
Nice little pitch and catch, Gary, not being overly aggressive, just giving what the defense takes you. I like the decision-making by Tyleek Bethea on that particular play.
Trey Gross on the reception, second down for the Hornets. Going downfield, going vertical. It is complete down at the 2 or 3 yard line. Actually caught it on his knees. Kawana Kali. What a catch. Got tripped up on his knees, made the catch.
There's a whole lot of bumping and grinding on that particular play. And when he jumped up, he was looking for the interference, but he'll take the reception. Big gain on that play.
First and goal Hornets from the 3, and hold on. The officials blowing the whistle. Not everybody ready on that particular play. And we'll have a quick timeout here. We have a break in the action as we get a chance to look again at that catch, McCauley. We'll take a timeout on the field. This is HSRN, the voice of HBCU sports.
by being connected to your tailgate. So hopefully they have long umbilical cords.
Back here, 1st and goal at the 3rd for Delaware State as we return to action. Bethea from the shotgun. Has a lone back in the backfield. Colley split out wide on the right side. And the officials say we're ready all to play here. High snap, pull it down, hand it off. Bryant Dallas hit at the line of scrimmage. It'll be no gain on the play. 2nd down.
Good penetration by Quentin Hill for the Howard Bison. Again, Delaware State University. Got to do a much better job of tightening up on those splits when you're inside the red zone when you're running the ball. It's really about shoulder-to-shoulder blocking when you're an offensive lineman because it's all about pushing the defense back.
And, Mike, you know how important timing is. That high snap can throw that timing off just a little bit. They want to go to the air. Bethea to Colley. Touchdown, Hornets! In the right corner of the end zone. And Kawana Colley just reached up over the defender and caught the ball for the Hornet score.
Just so aggressive to the ball. And, you know, they're like a new group of wide receivers. These are the same guys last year who struggled to get open, and now these guys are actually starting to kind of create a reputation for themselves. A nice pass by Bethea and just good concentration by Kawana Colley to put those big mitts on that ball and pull it down.
Jose Romo Martinez to kick the extra point. And it is good.
The extra point is good.
The Hornets go out to an early lead here with 11:06 remaining in the first quarter, and they go up 7-0. Good drive by Delaware State, taking it right downfield. The key, that 40-yard pass caught there by Kawana Colley, just about on his knees at the 3-yard line to set up the score.
Took about 4 minutes off the clock on that drive, Gary, and they did it by somewhat of a balanced attack. Had some success running the ball, some success throwing the ball. I really like what I saw out of Delaware State University on their first possession. That is the second consecutive game where they've scored on their opening possession.
9-play drive of 84 yards, and you're right, it took just about 4 minutes off the clock, 3 minutes and 54 seconds, I believe, to be exact. Yes, that would add up. With 11:06 left in the first period. So the Hornets now with a chance to go on defense for the first time. We'll see kicking off Jake Bradell. They split the kicking chores last week. Bradell did all the kickoffs, and Jose Romo Martinez did the field goals and extra points. This is a low kick. It'll roll along the ground and be picked up at the 10-yard line, brought up to the 20-yard line, and hit there on the return.
Derek Carson on the kickoff return.
Derek Carson on the return. The Bison, with their first possession of the game, will start at their own 20.
Start this drive with the preseason offensive player of the year, Cam Newton's younger brother. I know he's excited about trying to get his team a victory, so we'll see what he can do on this opening drive.
And as he plays today, the word comes out that Cam won't play this weekend. Newton with a little bit of time. Now the pocket collapses. He'll scramble, run left side, throw it out of bounds, and we have a penalty marker down in the backfield. All that time, that kind of a situation, you would suspect maybe there was a bit of holding.
That's a great job by those defensive backs, Gary. They gave Newton nowhere to throw the ball. He scrambled kind of in the back just to see if he could buy some time. And, you know, when you start running around in that pocket, you're asking your offensive line to do more than they really expected to do, and that's when they start grabbing onto people. That's exactly what happened. There's some holding on that last play.
How good is Kalen Newton, the 2019 MEAC preseason player of the year? He was the 2018 offensive player of the year in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. He's faced with a 2nd down and 10 as he also works from a shotgun formation. Going way downfield, his intended receiver, Damian Gillespie, and incomplete. Gillespie down around his 45-yard line. The ball ended up landing out past the 50.
Looked like his feet might have got tangled up with Isaiah Small on that play, but Small's right in his back pocket. Again, defense, all the backs are in position, and right now they're covering very solid.
And another marker on that play. This one also will go against Howard University. 2 holding calls in a row, puts the ball back to the 5-yard line. That gives the Bison a 1st and 25. They have to get out to the 30-yard line to pick up a first down. So this Hornet defense doing the job.
25 at the 5.
Now Newton from his end zone looks, can't find anybody open. He'll run. He'll come out to the 20-yard line, head for the sideline, and be out just short of the 30-yard line. Almost got all 25 yards back on that carry, out to the Howard 28-yard line.
That's a great pickup on the pocket breaking down. He just decided he didn't have anybody, and everybody vacated, so there wasn't anybody who was really there to take care of him. And he outran some of those Dell State defenders and just shy of the first down.
He rushed for 504 yards last year. Now on second down. The run out across to the Howard 41-yard line, and the Bison will pick up a first down. Didn't look like it was going to be possible when they were faced with a 1st and 25 at their own 5, but Kalen Newton has brought this team out from the shadows of their own goalpost. On first down, a draw play through the middle, cross up close to the Delaware State, close to midfield, did not get across the 50-yard line. They'll mark it at the 50 to bring up second down and 1 as the Bison now moving the ball. Hornets put some pressure on early. Quickly, a good snap. Newton passes complete. Penalty marker goes down after the completion to Michael Cornwell, the tight end. But a marker in the backfield, and that could bring this one back.
Delaware State a little bit slow defensively setting up on that play. They got to get themselves ready. It's hot out there, and, they don't do a whole lot of changing as far as defense is concerned. So these guys, you got to hope that conditioning doesn't become a problem with them.
Well, this one's going to go against the Hornets, and it will give Howard a first down, an illegal substitution, 5-yard step off to the Delaware State 44-yard line, and another first down for the Bison.
It's going to be a test for this defense. They got to make sure that they have the stamina, because Howard has a very high, potent, and really fast-paced offense. They got to be set and ready to go every play.
Now the officials blow the whistle. Stoppage of play here momentarily as 3 of them converge at the ball on the 44-yard line over on the far side hash mark. Good homecoming crowd here today at Delaware State University. The only MEAC game on the schedule this afternoon. All the rest of the MEAC schools are playing non-conference matchups. And we should be ready to play here again. And we are. We think. Nope, we're not. Now Howard goes back to huddle quickly. Now they come back out, and we're ready to go. Kalen Newton from the gun. Hands it off. They try to run behind the right guard, and that Hornet defense said, we don't think we're going to let you do that. Stacked him up, no gains, 2nd and 10.
Good job by Christian Johnson on that play, that defensive end, the 5th-year senior kind of anchoring himself in and not allowing for the right tackle for Howard to push him up the field.
Again, the snap dropped. Newton has to fall on it, and a penalty marker goes down. And I think maybe the center snapped it early. Quarterback Kalen Newton didn't seem to be ready. Illegal procedure against Howard. You're in trouble when the center gets confused on the snap count. It was obvious Newton was not ready for that ball when it came back and tried to get his hands up and catch it. Could not control it. It'll be 2nd and 15 for the Bison from the 49. Far side hash mark. Newton, quick out. Dropped by the receiver right into the hands of Kyle Anthony and couldn't hold on.
Newton's pass is incomplete. Kyle Anthony, the intended receiver.
Mike, as a quarterback, what do you say to a guy when he comes back to the huddle? He sure doesn't want to come back to the huddle and face the quarterback.
Well, listen, we got to, whether you do well on a play or you do poorly, you have to forget about that because we have to focus on the next play. So he's going to rub it off mentally, and he's going to expect his receiver to do the exact same thing.
3rd and 15. 3 receivers split out wide on the left. Pressure on Newton. Scrambles right side. He's being chased. Runs forward and will go out of bounds. Looks like short of the first down. We'll see where they mark his forward progress to, up to the 37-yard line. And that's going to be short by about 3 yards.
It's that good defensive coverage by Delaware State University that forces Calen Newton to find that alternative receiver.
Bytonson go for it on 4th down. Quick out pass, broken tackles, and into the end zone for Howard University on a play that should have broken down after a 5-yard gain. But the receiver just kept breaking tackles and spinning away from people and got all the way to the end zone. Touchdown, Howard.
Wait a minute. They haven't.
Or are they going to mark him down at the 1?
They're going to say he was just, I don't know. If they review this, it looks like he might have been in.
Yeah. And I think we might get a review of this. The officials now calling for a timeout. Nope. No review coming.
It's first and goal.
First and goal for the Bison. He did not get into the end zone. They'll try left side and lose some yardage, as the Hornets defense said, we think we're going to keep you out of there as long as we can. Running play to the right side. Dedrick Parson, the redshirt sophomore for Howard, on the carry, trying to follow that left guard and tackle into the end zone, but that Hornet defense stacked it up. Parson, a 2019 MEAC All-Conference first team pick, and was the MEAC Rookie of the Year last year. They depend on him a lot. Newton could not get even set up. Sacked in the backfield, getting in there. Brian Cavalcante shot the gap and got to Newton for a big loss.
The preseason Defensive Player of the Year introduces himself to the preseason Offensive Player of the Year on that play. What a great job by Brian Cavalcante, but more important, what a great play for Delaware State University.
Loss of 12, back to the Hornets' 15-yard line. It's 3rd and goal from there. Calen Newton's been faced with 3rd and long, 4th and long situations, and he's managed to make something happen. Let's see here on 4th and goal from the 15. It is complete, down at the 9-yard line. And it'll bring up 4th down for Howard. Let's see if they go for it on the completion to Kyle Anthony, the wide receiver. Whether they go for it or they try for 3 here early in the game. And they will go for it.
Gutsy call by Howard deep in the Del State's red zone. This could be a great decision or probably a game-changing blunder.
We'll see if Ron Prince dialed up the right play. Newton sacked on the play. The wrong choice by Ron Prince with this Hornets defense that comes away had to deal with a 1st and goal at the 1-yard line and kept Howard out of the end zone.
Again, you got to credit the coverage by the defensive backs. It's just not giving Newton any opportunity to find anybody open, and those guys at that 1st and 2nd level putting the pressure on Newton and preventing them from scoring a touchdown when he had the ball inside the 1-yard line.
We have a break in the action, and we'll take this timeout as well. This is HSRN, the voice of HBCU sports, and you're watching MEAC football on ESPN3.
You like the power to do it.
University on homecoming afternoon. They'll have to go 85 yards to put up another score, but their defense held off the Bison. They lead 7-0. And they'll give it to Bryant Dallas. He'll try the left side. Can't find anything. Couldn't get outside of his left tackle and taken down at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
You know, was looking to make something happen, but you have to be real decisive when you're operating out of your own red zone. You really got to hit those holes, knowing that the goal is to pick up 2 or 3 yards, maybe even 4 at best, because that's all the defense is going to give you. And you can't really be bouncing, checking each hole to see if there's something available.
Ball on the far side, hash mark. 2 backs in the backfield now with quarterback Tyleek Bethea. Drops back on the shotgun on 2nd down and 10. Can't find anybody open. Runs with the ball. Picks up a yard, but that's all as he got out just to the 16-yard line.
3rd down for Delaware State.
First time in this game so far now that the Hornets been faced with a third down and long situation after that 84-yard opening drive.
Yeah, you got to be real cautious with this particular drive because you got a huge momentum swing by what your defense accomplished off the field. You got to give them on the field. You got to give them a chance to relax a little bit. So this is a huge third down for Delaware State's offense.
Yeah, and it's a hot day, so you want to give your defense a chance to rest, make the other defense work. Bethea throwing on third down, incomplete. He was looking for Charles Peeler on the right side, and it was just a little bit too far out there for Peeler to be able to pull it in. Hornets will go 3 and out, and that's a lift for Howard. We talk about how warm it is. Game time temperature, 83 degrees here in Dover. Hornets to punt for the first time today. This is Fidel Romo Martinez, the brother of the place kicker, Jose Romo Martinez. Fidel actually had a pretty good game against Lincoln last week, and there's a high kick that hangs up, good hang time, taken at the 41-yard line by the Bison and returned out to the 46-yard line, maybe to the 47. Not a whole lot of return, just a good punt. Gave the coverage team time to go downfield.
Hit that about 40 plus, and the hang time was somewhere in that 4.4 range. So again, that's a good punt by Romo Martinez. Now, Delaware State University has to just maintain that momentum that they had off the last drive, and they need a couple of big plays. It's time for Delaware State University's defense to come up and put some points on the board with a big play.
They did on a goal line stand. Let's see what they can do here in the middle of the field at the 47-yard line. Newton's pass over the head of his wide receiver, Damian Gillespie. They're not giving Newton much time to set up back there, and at times breaking down that pocket he's trying to work from.
And the times when he does have some time, the defensive backs are doing a really good job of just being in the back pockets of those wide receivers, and he just can't find anybody open.
Second down and 10 for the Bison. As people continue to come into Alumni Stadium in Dover, here's Newton looking, wants to go further downfield. It'll be caught but taken out of bounds. He never got a foot down inbounds. Kyle Anthony with a good leaping catch, but unfortunately it will be incomplete as well. Third down and 10.
Christian Johnson doing a great job of driving his man back really into the throwing motion of Kalen Newton, and I think that disrupted that pass a little bit.
Bringing full pressure. They got him. He throws the ball away on the sideline, but he went down. Are they going to rule him as sacked or as an incomplete pass? Looks like they're going to rule incomplete pass. They're going to put the ball down. The umpire setting it down at the 47-yard line. Frank Trevino set the football there on the far side hash mark. And so it'll be a punt by the Bison. Isaiah Moore comes in to do the chore. Standing deep for Delaware State is Keenan Black. What a game he had last week. 5 punt returns on the season for Black. He won't get a chance with this one. It will bounce and be downed inside the Delaware State 20-yard line. And I'm not sure. It looks like they're going to spot it at the 17-yard line. That's pretty close to being accurate.
Yeah, now you know what? That ball looked like it could have actually taken a roll that might have set Delaware State deeper into its own red zone, but they might have to credit Howard by catching that ball in the air and essentially killing it and downing it right there. So that down, the advantage might have gone to Delaware State University.
I was surprised when Dedrick Parson grabbed that ball in the air. Hornets now trying after going 3 and out. Their defense made the Bison go 3 and out. Let's see if they can get it going here. First drive went for a touchdown, and it's Bethea with 2 receivers split out on each side. Quick inside pattern completed to Trey Gross. Loose ball, scramble for it, and Delaware State may have gotten it back. And if so, they'll have a first down out of the play, and it is Hornets ball, and it will be a first down. They get a break there at their 28-yard line.
Trey Gross made the grab on the shallow cross, and he got the ball ripped from his possession, but he got bailed out by his partner in crime, Kawana Kali, who saw him fumble and jumped on that ball.
The offensive ball hawk, Kawana Kali. Here's Bethea rolling to his right side, fakes the pass, throws out of bounds. He had a receiver in the area, the running back or the wide receiver, Corin Aline, but Aline was too close to the sideline, so Bethea threw it out of bounds.
Bethea coaching Eileen on the field, indicating that Eileen didn't run the pattern he was expecting him to run. I think he wanted him to go more vertical, and he broke that off on a long out pattern. But they rolled Bethea to his right, and I'd like to see him roll to the right. It gives him an option to run the ball. He could have actually ran on that last play.
Freshman schooling the freshman after the play. 2nd and 10. Bethea takes the snap, hands it off. It's Dallas, left side. He'll fight his way out to about the 30-yard line. Gang tackling out there, a whole lot of bodies in the vicinity. They'll say he got to the 31-yard line, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and 7.
Defensively, Howard did a good job of just forcing Brian Dallas to continuously, bounce outside and never get north and south. Those are, especially early in the possession, when it's that 1st down, 2nd down, and you run the ball, you really got to be conscious of picking up enough yards to really create that 3rd and short situation.
Bethea here on 3rd down, drops back. Kali off his fingertips, had to turn around on the in shoulder. It went outside. He just couldn't get the body stretched out far enough off his fingertips, and incomplete. We have a Bison player down at about the 20-yard line.
So Delaware State picks up a 1st down on that possession, but again, they're going to punt the ball away, and not a whole lot of time off the clock and just not a whole lot of success offensively.
And we'll have a timeout here. With the injury, a timeout. We'll take this timeout as well. This is HSRN, the voice of HBCU sports, and you're watching MEAC football on ESPN3. Fidel Romo Martinez is ready to punt for Delaware State from Alumni Stadium in Dover, Delaware. Gary Lang, Mike Walker. Homecoming afternoon with a big crowd here in Alumni Stadium. And a long count here for Romo Martinez before he punts. And it's a fake. He throws the pass. It is incomplete. Mike Waters, the running back, was the intended receiver. Looked like there could have been some early contact.
There might have been, Guy, but they generally don't call that because, there's the look as if Mike Waters might have been going downfield, and the defender has a right to bump into him. But I tell you what, had he caught that ball, Guy, I'm not sure he was past the line of scrimmage. I like the gutsy play, but I think the execution left a lot to be desired.
So now the pressure goes on the Hornets defense as the Bison take over 1st and 10 at the Delaware State 31-yard line. Something for teams to think about the rest of the season. Here's Kalen Newton. Wanted to throw, and instead he got hammered down. Brandon Carswell gets in there and makes the sack.
Loss of yards, 2nd down for the Bison.
The 5th-year senior, the defensive end, jumped on his back like a backpack that they give away for kids when they first start school. Man.
40-yard line.
Carswell got credited with a sack safety last week in the 4th quarter against Lincoln.
That front 3 for Delaware State University is doing a great job of moving Newton all in that back pocket.
Loss on the play of 9, 2nd down and 19. Newton with a little bit of time there, and it is complete down inside the 20-yard line. Just out jumping the defender on the play. It's Kyle Anthony, and that's going to be a 1st down for the Bison.
Caught that ball between Tavares Sample and Devin Smith. They were both in the area. They both made a play on the ball, but they just got outworked by a very aggressive receiver for Howard University.
Ball on the Hornets' 17-yard line in the red zone. The Bison haven't been able to put it across the double stripe in the red zone so far today. Newton with a long count, ball on the near side hash mark. They'll run the ball, take it out left side, and if any gain, it's only a yard for Dedrick Parson. And he got it back to the 17. No gain on the play. Second down and 10.
Down at the 17, tackled by number 17, Devin Smith. Again, doing a good job of coming up out of that defensive back position and playing his role in run support.
Devin Smith, one of the tri-captains for Delaware State, with Andrew Reese and Kawana Colley. Second down, 10 yards to go. The ball still on the near side hash mark, and Newton calls the signals. Long count. Hands off again. This time, a good running play to Parson, and he'll take it 5 yards, 6 yards up to the 11-yard line.
He'll get him closer to, confident field goal position. But again, that's going to be far short of the first down. This could be a two-down situation for Howard University. They may opt to go for the first down, even if they don't pick it up on this particular play.
3rd and 4 right now. They did try on 4th down on their first possession and failed. After having a 1st and goal, in that Hornet defense made a lot of good things happen for them. Newton throwing, end zone, incomplete. And they're going to throw a penalty marker. Devin Smith down there on coverage, and there was some contact in the end zone as the ball approached.
Pass interference, defense number 17. Foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
That will set up a first down now for Howard, and it's a good call. There was contact.
Yeah, it just seemed like Devin Smith was out of position on that play, and,
Smith looked back at the ball a little bit late, too. So with the contact and not making a good play for the ball, it's 1st and goal from the 2. Newton. Long snap count. High snap. Mix up in the backfield. And the Hornets almost took the handoff. Yes, Dedrick Parson nailed as soon as he got the ball. That's the kind of play, a split second earlier, they break it up and the ball is loose.
Andrew Reese led the attack by Delaware State University, again out of that D-back position, just coming up and blowing that whole play up.
First quarter has come to an end here at Alumni Stadium in Dover, Delaware. This is with the Hornets leading by a score of 7-0. This is HSRN, the voice of HBCU sports. And you're watching MEAC football on ESPN3.
Rookie.
Alumni Stadium in Dover, Delaware. I'm Gary Lang along with Mike Walker. Second quarter action set to begin here. Delaware State leads Howard 7-0, and it's Hornets with the ball, second down. Check that, Howard with the ball, second down, touchdown, Bison. As they go to the end zone, and it's that matchup between a tall receiver, Kyle Anthony, and the shorter defensive player, Devin Smith.
Devin Smith's going to have his work cut out for him today because he's facing a guy.
Pass interference, offense
We
number
had a marker
81.
on the play, and it's
15-yard
offensive
penalty
pass
from the previous
interference.
spot. Repeat second down.
That will take away the touchdown and move the ball back a bit.
They're going to get Kyle Anthony with that push-off.
Yeah.
That's the reason why he was open on that play. Devin Smith was politicking for the penalty.
And it's a 15-yarder that puts the ball back at the Delaware State 24-yard line.
That's a huge call for Delaware State University.
After, on a previous play, Devin Smith being called for pass interference in the end zone. This time, he was interfered with on his defensive play. So it is second down for the Bison. Newton, pressure there, stumbles a little bit trying to run out to the side. He'll throw the ball away and bring up third down.
There is no foul.
And it's third and goal from the Delaware State 24-yard line. Hornets now today trying to play a bend but don't break defense.
And I like the strategy, Gary. I mean, they're willing to give it up, in between the 20s, but once Howard gets into that red zone, they've struggled against this Delaware State University defense. And what that tells me is when they're not worried about getting beat deep, Delaware State University is very aggressive of playing with that ball in front of them.
dominating that line of scrimmage with a 4-man front on this play. 3rd down. Newton takes the snap, drops back, looks downfield, throwing post, complete, and it will be a touchdown for the Bison as the receiver gets into the end zone, and it looked like Kyle Anthony on the catch for the Bison. And he just got between a couple of defenders. Newton, with a great touch on that ball, fired a rifle.
Yeah, he just threw a rope and, put it up high in the air. His offensive player got a little bit higher, and he caught that ball right between what appeared to be Jihad Niebauer and Devin Smith. They're both trying to figure out who's responsible for covering him after he scored the touchdown.
Bison will try the extra point. Nick Farris to kick. Aaron Motley looks like is the holder, and it is no good. Missed it wide right. And so the Hornets will hold on to a 1-point lead here, 7-6 early in the second quarter. Well, that offense looked great for Delaware State on the first possession when they went 84 yards in 9 plays, but since then it has sputtered.
Yeah.
And the defense has been called upon on a hot day to be on the field a whole lot more than Coach Rod Milstead would like them to be.
2 empty possessions for Delaware State University after a very balanced and very successful opening drive. And they got to get back to the formula that's successful for them, the thing that works. And that's getting the ball to those big wide receivers quickly. I think they abandoned that and got a little bit aggressive as far as their offensive playing was concerned, and were trying to hit some of those vertical routes. Now they have to hit those quick stops, those quick outs, supplement that with that inside running game. We really want to see guys accelerating in between the tackles and not bouncing outside, checking holes to see, where they might be able to turn it up.
Evidence of how tough that Delaware State defense is this afternoon. Howard got the ball on the Hornets' 31-yard line, and it took them 7 plays to get to the end zone. Here's the kickoff taken at the 7 by Colley. Colley up the middle, and a little bit of an opening. Then it closes up as he gets to the 25-yard line. Kawana Colley, such a dangerous kick returner. On a lot of teams, though, you wouldn't want him returning kicks because he's such a weapon for the quarterback to try to hit on passing routes.
Coach Milstead is a believer in my best players are on the field, especially for special teams. If you check any of his special teams, you're going to find starters from the offense and the defense on his special teams unit.
Well, he also watched a Delaware State teammate and a teammate at San Francisco named John Taylor, who started off as a special teams specialist, made the Pro Bowl as a kick returner, and then was an outstanding receiver. There's a pass picked off at the line of scrimmage and tripped at about the 5-yard line. Ray Williams on the interception.
This pass is intercepted by number 7, Ray Williams.
And I'll tell you what, had that ball gotten past Williams, Kawana Colley was wide open out at the 30-yard line, and he'd still be running. But it's picked off instead, and now the defense will be tested.
Yeah, just a great individual effort by Ray Williams. It was all in the timing, Gary. He just happened to stop and elevate and picked off what was sure to be a huge gain by Kawana Colley. Now, again, they're going to call on Delaware State Unit's defense to stop them from scoring and maybe at best limit them to a field goal attempt.
First interception of the season for Tyleek Bethea. First and goal from the 4. Newton, high snap, pressured there. Hornets busted through. Newton gets away from the trouble and runs it into the end zone. We have a penalty marker. It will be offside, the call, and it will be Delaware State called for the offside. You just can't get in there that fast if you haven't gone offside, and the Hornets jumped the snap count.
Offsides, defense, number 65, half the distance to the goal. Repeat, first down.
Richie Corvo called for it. So apparently the whistle blew and the play was dead. No touchdown.
Result
as
of the play
they'll move
is a
the ball.
touchdown.
Nope.
Penalties apply.
I wondered about that, how they were going to move the ball half the distance when Kalen Newton got to the end zone.
Looked like there was going to be a little bit of home cooking for Delaware State University, but, hey, that recipe don't exist right there.
Newton had his hands on his hips looking at the official as if to say, I really don't understand what you're doing here. Now, Newton didn't hear them say that it was a touchdown. He and some of the offensive players were still on the field and he was
ruling on the
questioning the
field
call.
is a touchdown. The previous play is under review.
Now they're going to review it, and they're going to review the play, and I'm wondering here if they're questioning whether Newton got into the end zone before his knee hit. So the officials are going to take another look at it. But the Bison have moved into the lead here if this stands as a touchdown.
It's a tough situation to put your defense in, having to try to keep this very powerful offense for Howard University out of the end zone in a very short field. And again, just a great individual effort by Newton on that play. When the play broke down, he just knew, where to run that ball, and he got airborne at the last second.
Yeah, with the penalty,
After
and
further review, the ruling on
Richie
the field is
Corbel getting in
confirmed.
so fast.
Touchdown.
They will say that the call on field was a good call, and it will be a Bison touchdown to put Howard in the lead here. Now they'll kick for extra point again. At least they set up that way. Nick Farris to kick the extra point. Isaiah Moore, another kicker on the squad, is the holder for the extra point attempt. Don't see many kickers wearing 99. They usually have those low single-digit numbers. The kick from Farris is blocked, and the Hornets have it. Will this be 2 weeks in a row that they block an extra point and take it for two? And they will do that. Block the extra point, and they go for the 2-point touchdown. The second week in a row that the Hornets have been able to do that.
Count 2 points for Delaware State.
And that's a great way to snatch some of the momentum back to your favor. Howard's been struggling with their kicking game, and Delaware State takes big advantage of that. And, they take that block kick and all the way back to the house. And I like how the guys were very cautious with their blocks, just kind of looking back to make sure no clips on the play so that they can come away with that 2-point touchdown.
DeAndre Blue Eli takes it the distance for Delaware State after the blocked extra point. So the score now, just to catch you up, it's a field goal difference. Howard 12, Delaware State.
Rookie.
So the Hornets pick up 2 on the blocked extra point to make it a 12-9 game, and that's 2 missed extra points for Howard University. Brian Cavalcante with the block, DeAndre Blue Eli with the run for 2. And the Hornets will get the ball back here. This offense has to get on track now for Delaware State. They've been a bit sluggish today. See what kind of a game plan Eric Day dials up. As the kickoff is taken at the 11-yard line, they'll bring it out close to the 25. They're going to say to the 26-yard line on the kickoff return. So Delaware State set up here with pretty good field position. Anytime you're outside of your own 20, 25-yard line, you're in good shape.
So the focus should not be the home run. Sometimes you can become mesmerized by the home run and you don't get enough singles, all right? So, in baseball, we just want to get guys on base so we can drive them home methodically. Picking up the first down is the touchdown for Delaware State. They just got to keep focusing on getting first downs, and they'll get into the red zone.
Tyleek Bethea, last week's MEAC Rookie of the Week for his game against Lincoln. Hands off on first down. That line continues to surge forward. Now it looks like a rugby scrum out at the 38-yard line as bodies press together. And it'll be a 6-yard gain for the Hornets. Bryant Dallas on the carry, following that offensive line and that big surge. Good situation. As they'll go again to Dallas. Bit of a hole, takes it up to the 35-yard line, and the Hornets faced with a 3rd down and 1. Really need to make this first down. They don't want to go out 3 and out here. Last week, Bethea against Lincoln, 16 of 28 passing, 181 yards, 2 touchdown passes in that game in his first start. And they'll run the ball up the middle, and they come up short of the first down. It'll be 4th and 1.
4th down for your Hornets.
Del State going to the well with the run game, confident they can pick up the yards necessary for the first down. When you do stuff like that, when you run 3 times in a row, you have confidence in your offensive line. And right now they're calling for them to go for it on 4th.
Yeah, the offense wants to go for it. The coaches kind of got together and looked at the offensive line enough, and the linemen said, we're going to go for this. And the coaches said, okay. Now the long snap count as they try to drive the defense offside, and the Hornets use that timeout.
Delaware State.
The often
their first
used
team
ploy
timeout
that seldom
of the half.
ever works.
This will also be a media timeout.
Gary, the team itself really sets the tempo and the temperament for the game. And they're the ones who have to be excited about what's going on. They're the ones.
Martinez ready to punt for the Hornets here from their own 35-yard line after failing on 3rd and 1 to get the first down. The offensive unit having a hard time after that opening drive getting things going again. Meanwhile, the defense has had to come up with some big plays, and special teams that took a point away from Howard and gave 2 to Delaware State. If you've just joined us, we have a 12-9 score. Delaware State scored first. Howard came back with 2 touchdowns, but on the second touchdown, the extra point was blocked. Delaware State took it for a 2-point conversion for the second week in a row. And once again, we're held up here because of a play clock malfunction. And as soon as they have that straightened out, which seems to be now, we'll be back to action. Fidel Romo Martinez, a little bit of pressure, popped this one up. Not much distance, good hang time, and it goes out of bounds. That was a real short kick. And they're going to say it's out of bounds at the 50-yard line. A 15-yard punt does not help this defense today.
Yeah, it shanked off the right side of his foot. He felt, I guess, some pressure that didn't necessarily materialize and tried to rush that just a little bit. Didn't go through his full swing and his kick, and he ended up shanking it a little bit because it had great height, but it didn't have any distance.
Kayla Newton brings the team back out at midfield, takes the snap, pressure, throwing downfield, a lot of contact. 2 players, both were pushing. It is completed to Damian Gillespie.
Penalty flag on the play.
Marker on the play. Both team players were pushing,
Number 28, that penalty
but
is
they're going to
declined.
call Nigel
First down.
Bynum for pass interference. And Howard will decline that penalty, and they'll have it first down at the Delaware State 19. If they'd gone with the penalty, they'd only have it at the Hornets 35. Newton, a little bit of pressure, but throws the quick out. It is complete. Kyle Anthony having a big day on this Delaware State defense. Gets it to the 13-yard line.
Second down for the Bison.
Bison pick up 6 on the play. Newton again. Hornets show blitz. Cavalcante backs off from the line of scrimmage. They'll hand it off and run it. Breaking out from the stack and taking it out left side, Zedrick Parson. Parson with a couple of yards down to the 11.
Look like Cavalcante on that tackle.
Marker on the play. And we'll get the call.
Holding defense, number 78. Half the distance to the goal. Penalty results in a first down.
Holding on Big Leaky Sue, the nose guard for Delaware State University, used to play on the offensive side of things. Now they got him playing on the defensive line, they're going to hit him with a holding penalty.
First and goal for the Bison now from the Delaware State 4-yard line. Newton, hands off, fakes the handoff. He runs right side. He will be hit in the backfield and actually lose a little bit of yardage, maybe a yard on the play.
Brian Cavalcante again with the initial contact, wrapping his leg up, couldn't bring him down. Got some support from some additional Hornets, and they're going to tackle Newton for a loss on that play.
Loss of a yard, back to the 7. Newton throwing, corner of the end zone. It is caught, and it is a Bison touchdown. Waited for the signal. Touchdown, Howard to Damian Gillespie. And Kalen Newton showing a great touch on that corner throw and getting his receivers who are making the play over top of the Delaware State defenders.
It's a short field, and somehow the receiver managed to get behind Nigel Bynum, and he just struggled in his defensive coverage. It's one of those situations, Gary, where it's mono and mono, and you got to kind of get a feel for when the ball is going to be up in the air, and you got to make a play on it. You can't just solely be focused on the receiver because he controls the entire play. You got to at some point turn your head and make a play on the ball.
This time, the Bison will go for 2, as they have had 2 extra points missed. One was missed, the other was blocked, and now Delaware State calls a timeout.
Delaware State, that is their second team timeout.
Things together. I think they were a little bit surprised that Howard came out in the 2-point formation and didn't show up with the kicker. But they have a problem with the kicking game, obviously, and that's why early in the game when they were down inside the 20-yard line, they didn't go for a field goal. Well, we've seen it on extra points. One went wide right and the other was blocked at the line of scrimmage.
You know, this just might be a good old-fashioned shootout, Gary, and if it is, the only way it's going to become a shootout is if the offense for Delaware State gets involved. They showed they could move the ball methodically down the field in their opening drive, but they sputtered as an offense in their 4 consecutive drives after that. They really got to just batten down the hatches and focus. Get some of that short passing game again to loosen up that run defense, and that will allow Brian Dallas and some of the other running backs to get some yards in between the tackles. But right now, I think Delaware State University just needs to get that short passing game established again, and that will loosen up some opportunities for the run.
You knew you were in trouble as far as pass defense with Kalen Newton out there. Last year he threw for over 2,600 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's racked up a few here today. Trying for 2, Newton rolls right side, throws. It will be incomplete, and for the 3rd touchdown, the Bison failed to convert. 10 minutes and 14 seconds left in the first half, and the Bison go up 18-9 over Delaware State. We have a timeout on the field. This is HSRN, the voice of HBCU sports, and you're watching.
You like the power to do.
Howard Bison set to kick off to Delaware State, leading 18-9.
Pressure's beginning to build on the offensive side of the ball. They're definitely going to be looking to establish something on this next possession.
This kick will be taken out about the 8-yard line. Colley looking for some place to run, brings it up the middle, and is hit at the 24-yard line and stopped there. Plenty of time for Delaware State to try to get something going offensively here in this half, with 10 minutes and a few seconds still to play in the half. But since that opening drive that looked so good, that offense just has not been able to put it together.
Some of it is just, a combination of plays that they're running. Last possession was 3 consecutive run plays inside the tackles, literally with the same person. And, Howard University, they're gambling up in the box, and they won that last possession. Let's see what Delaware State has for them this possession.
Here's Tyleek Bethea faking the handoff on first down, throwing. It'll be a loss of yardage. Isaiah Williams, the tight end, hit in the backfield, and he'll lose a couple of yards. back to the 16-yard line.
Isaiah Williams on
17, rather.
just on that short out route, and he ended up losing a few yards on that particular play because he really curled out really quickly and didn't get any yardage up the field vertically.
2nd down and 12. They go to the ground and hit another loss of yardage back at the 20-yard line. Quick defense got in there and got a hold of Bryant Dallas.
Byron Dallas on the carry.
So now it's 3rd and 14.
Delaware State.
And the Howard Band set up just about in front of where Delaware State's offense is trying to work from. They are adding these sounds across the field. Here's Bethea on 3rd and 14 from the gun. Drops back, looks down, pressure, throws into the middle, complete. And the Hornets have a first down. Yards after the catch by Jordan Hanna out to the 35-yard line. Hanna was really hit about 3.5 yards short and managed to power through the tackle.
The senior showing you why he's a senior, understanding the situation, and that was a Lincoln to Lincoln connection. Both of those guys coming out of the same high school.
Hand off Dallas, breaking through and getting about 7 yards out to the 42-yard line. And now that offensive line beginning to dominate just a little bit again.
Byron Dallas on the carry.
They did early, and then Howard stiffened up. They're going to mark the line of scrimmage at the 41. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Hornets split out 3 receivers wide on the left side, Dallas in the backfield, and 1 receiver out on the right. Bethea steps up into the pocket, wants to throw. Marker in the backfield. Marker downfield as well. Won it Colley down around the 35-yard line. Couldn't complete it to him.
Holding.
But a marker
Offense, number 69.
holding against
10-yard
Delaware
penalty.
State. Let's see what the marker is downfield, however, before they we got the initial call of holding against Delaware State, but in the area of the receiver and the defender, we had a marker drop.
There's 2 flags on the play. Holding offense number 69. Pass interference defense number 18. Those penalties are offset. Replay the down.
Okay. The early indication of holding on Delaware State was correct, but a little premature as far as stepping off yardage. So we have the offsetting penalties of holding and pass interference. Still 2nd down and 4 for the Hornets from their own 41-yard line. Now they'll split 2 wide receivers out on each side with Bethea in the backfield, taking the snap. 1 back there to block. Bethea throwing over the middle, looking for Charles Peeler, and incomplete. Bethea is used to taller receivers, and Peeler is 5'8", and a few times now he's just thrown it over his head.
The other thing is, Peeler ran a kind of a crossing pattern that continuously worked upfield. He never flattened it out. And when you're kind of running deep on one of those angular patterns away from the quarterback, it's really hard to hit that receiver. They like for you to break that off and go flat so they get a better bead and a read on the pattern that you're running.
Here's big 3rd down now for the Hornets. Bethea quickly, and markers go down as the ball is snapped. Play stops. Bethea actually completed that pass to Trey Gross on a crossing pattern, but the play was stopped. False start on Delaware State and make it 3rd down and 9. And here the penalties begin to hurt.
They're going to hit Jordan Hanna with that particular false start.
Is 39 at the 36.
And that's a huge penalty against Delaware State University. Now it's a 3rd and long situation.
Bethea faced with having to come up with something here that the Hornets haven't been able to do since their first drive, and that's make a first down. He rolls left. He throws. It is incomplete. Trying to get it to Trey Gross, and great coverage there. Looked like it could have been early contact, but no marker on the play. Gross unable to hold on.
Trey Gross has to do a better job of working back to the ball. He ran flat across the line of scrimmage, and what that does is allows that defender to close on the receiver and the ball, and that's exactly what he did. When you're coming back to help the quarterback, you literally got to work back towards the quarterback. It looked like Bethea could have maybe tucked and ran that ball, but he opted to throw that pass. And again, good defense by Howard on that play.
Fidel Romo Martinez comes in again to punt. Stands at his 22-yard line. Return man down at his 20. Last punt was a 15-yard pop-up. This one much better. Good hang time. Drives the return man back to the 12. And now he finds a seam up the left side, down the sideline, and knocked out of bounds by Kawanakali, it looked like, on the special teams at the 40-yard line. So a return of about 25 yards or so.
Dr. Wilbur Mishu's granddaughter, Jonae Mishu, is celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday, Jonae.
Hornets defense going to have to try to come up with something big here. And really having trouble with Kalen Newton this afternoon. Now Newton with a first down, has a man in motion to the near side. Long count. Takes the snap, hands off, a draw play up the middle, good for about 9 yards. Out to the 49-yard line, hit from behind, and whenever a tackle comes from behind, it usually means the ball carrier picks up 3 or 4 extra yards as he gets pushed forward.
Just a good timed play by Howard University, an inside run when Delaware State was applying some pressure in the gaps and kind of on the outside. And he broke that initial line of scrimmage, no real linebacker support. And, he picked up big yards on the play.
9 to make it 2nd and 1. They'll run again, this time contact in the backfield, and we'll see if he got his forward progress out. One official, a couple of officials indicating he got across the 50, and indeed he did, to the Hornet 49-yard line. 2-yard gain, but good for a Howard first down.
Defense find themselves in a battle right now, and, this is where you test your mettle. You got to, make good plays.
Newton in trouble in the backfield, spun away from a tackler and managed to throw the ball. Got rid of it, threw it out of bounds.
There's a player in the area. 2nd down.
It'll be an incomplete pass. Hornets came very close to a big sack on that.
Cavalcanti shoved him out of the pocket, or forced him out of the pocket, and Brooks Parker came up, made contact. I don't know if he was trying to wrap him up or strip that ball, but Newton just kept fighting, got out of the tackle of Brooks Parker and threw the ball away, so avoided a large sack with a real headsy play.
Newton at 6 foot, 195 pounds. Kind of a big, strong guy in there. 2nd and 10, long count. Hands off, draw play, hit in the backfield. It'll be stopped for a loss as Dedrick Parson. That one just set up a little bit slowly, and that Hornet defense managed to make good penetration.
Parsons hitting about 4 or 5 spin moves in the backfield just to really come up about 1 yard shy of the original line of scrimmage.
For an injury.
We have an injury timeout here. I don't see anybody. One of the Hornet players is down at about the 48-yard line. It's Jawayne Granger. And whether today, being one of those hot days, he developed a cramp, they have to make sure that the players remain well hydrated on a day like today.
Coach Milstead heading out there just to give his, get his eyes on the situation. Hopefully it is a cramp. I'd hate for it to be some type of injury that's ligament related or knee related. Looks like that's Granger down there.
Yeah. Granger on the season coming into the day with 3 tackles, one of them a solo tackle. He's a local guy from Delaware, played at Caravel Academy, and he comes off the field looking like maybe just cramped up for a moment. No limp or anything of that nature as he comes to the sideline.
One of 17 players on the roster, Delaware State University, that comes from the first state. And, that was important to Coach Milstead. He says, look, we want to win the battle of recruiting Delaware. We want to make sure we have as much homegrown talent as possible. It was part of the success that we enjoyed back in the mid-'80s, having a whole lot of homegrown talent. And I think they're just trying to get back to that.
It also brings out local folks to sit in the stands. 3rd and 11, Newton in trouble again. He'll be sacked back at his own 41-yard line. A 9-yard loss on the play.
I'll tell you, that front 8 of that Delaware State University defense, I mean, the Hornets are swarming today. Newton, even when he has time in the pocket, there's nobody really for him to throw to. And you can see him just trying to figure out how to survive back there because all these Hornets are just coming out of nowhere to get involved in these tackles.
And at 6 foot tall, he has a hard time dealing with some of those defensive linemen and seeing past them downfield and finding an open man.
The defense has done its job again, Gary. They're going to turn it over to the special teams. Del State's looking to hopefully make something happen right here, but the offense has still got to chip in.
Loss of 8 on the play, and there's the punt by Howard. And staying away from the ball, Delaware State staying back from it. The ball takes a backward bounce. Howard will down it at the Hornets' 20-yard line, and we have 4:54 left in the first half.
Del State needs one of those 8, 10, 12 play drives that consumes a whole lot of time, that results in some points. They need some points on this drive. At a minimum, a field goal, but obviously they'd love to have a touchdown.
They don't want to go into the locker room trailing by 9. It would take actually 2 scores to get a lead before the half.
So now it's just one play at a time. You just really have to focus on not trying to hit a home run, but just pick up 4 or 5 yards per play and be consistent in that. And, and eventually those 4 or 5 yard pickups will result in a big gainer.
Let's see what Tyleek Bethea is able to do here on this possession. He'll hand it off on first down. It's Mike Waters. Waters out to the 21-yard line.
Trying to get Waters outside of the tackles. And his strength, Gary, is north and south. There's nobody who does it better inside the tackles than Mike Waters for Delaware State University. Low center of gravity, a thick body, very muscular guy. They like for him to bang north and south. I don't like to see him on those short sweeps off the tackle.
Waters has dealt with injuries through his past 2 seasons, played in only 5 games last year, 3 games in 2017. The comeback pattern by Colley. It came back actually to the line of scrimmage. It's a good thing that ball went over his head, or it could have been a loss of yardage. 3rd down and 9.
Delaware State, ball on the 21-yard line.
Right now the offense just seems to be a little out of sync. They're not really aggressively attacking Howard, and it seems like they're starting to really pull back on being a little aggressive in the play calling, trying to be very conservative but not maximizing on some of the advantages that they enjoy out there.
Don't want to turn the ball back to Howard, though, with just about 4 minutes left. Here they go downfield. Deep Colley. Incomplete. He drew double coverage. Nice arm, though, we see on Bethea, throwing from around his 10-yard line down inside of the Howard 40-yard line. Very close to a catch by Kawana Colley, but having trouble with the double coverage.
Again, nothing short, nothing designed to pick up the first down. They just were going for the home run. And Kawana Colley managed to get behind the 2 defenders, but that ball was just a little bit inside, so he couldn't make a good play on it. But unfortunately, Gary, another situation where Delaware State's going to be punting the ball away.
On 4th down and 9, Romo Martinez standing at his own 7 to take the snap. And Delaware State could give up some good field position here. As they go for the return, it'll be taken at the 39. Return man breaks 1 tackle, spurts to the outside, and is knocked out of bounds across the 50-yard line at the Delaware State 47-yard line, and it is Dedrick Parson on the return. Hornets quickly covered the punt. They had a man down there, but Parson made a good first move, and juked the guy, and then returned it for good yardage.
Ball on the DSU 47-yard line.
Tysheen Williams was that the gentleman who was down there early, and he was in pretty decent field position. He was in decent position to make a tackle, but had no support behind him.
Man in motion to the far side for Howard. Hornets coming after, and they stretch it out left side on the carry by Parson. Hornets had it blocked up in the middle, and Kalen Newton with a good play fake actually got knocked down. See a 6-yard gain on the play to the Delaware State 41-yard line. 2nd and 4.
It's 2nd and 1 at the 41.
Newton fakes the handoff, throws the screen, little bubble screen, and good defensive play coming up to make a tackle and stop that one short.
Number 14, Damian Gillespie.
Damon Gillespie on the reception, but breaking up that play looked like DeAndre blew Eli. Picked up a few yards, though. 3rd down and a yard to go for Howard.
It's 3rd and 1 at the 38.
Bison will spread it out. 3 receivers on the right side. 2 of them set back from the line of scrimmage. Now one man goes into motion and sets up inside. They'll fake the handoff. Newton around the left side and goes inside the 25-yard line before he steps out at the Delaware State 24.
First down, Bison.
What a dangerous player he can be, just like his older brother Cam. Doesn't have quite the size of Cam, but he has some of the same moves.
Strong arm, mobile, not afraid to run the ball. So those characteristics are in both of them. But again, I think he's making some really good decisions and some good plays, and the defense right now is just having to work for Delaware State University.
Howard knocking at the door, trying to get inside the red zone, just a few yards to go to get there, and the handoff tripped up at the line of scrimmage on the carry. Dedrick Parson picks up 2 down to the 22-yard line.
That
Parson.
bend but don't break mentality really has to run through all the players for Delaware State right now.
Hornets look like they tried to get a 12th man off the field, and they couldn't do it in time as a marker goes down.
Penalty flag on the play.
Elijah Dennis Thomas got caught in no man's land. He wasn't even outside the
Defense. 5-yard
numbers
penalty.
when the
So
ball
second
was
down.
snapped. So it's too many men on the field against Delaware State. That's a 5-yard penalty.
Got to know the situation. You know, your mind has to be in the game. Whether you make the tackle or not, you got to understand, are you in with that particular defensive set? If not, got to hustle to the sideline. There are no more huddles anymore in this game. Everybody's doing everything, one play right after the other.
2nd and 3 after the 5-yard step off. It's Parson in an eye directly behind the quarterback, Newton. He sets up to block. Newton throws to the end zone. Pass broken up. Good coverage. Devin Smith, who's been burned a few times in this game, made good coverage on that one.
Devin Smith, again, not turning his head to locate the ball. Gary just tries to, out physical that defender when he the receiver when he goes up. And he managed to stick an arm in there and separate the receiver from the ball. But, when it's short, you got to have confidence in your ability to turn your head and make a different type of play on that ball.
Smith has had a tough time covering Kyle Anthony today, and he did on that one. Running play, cuts to the outside. It is Parson again, and Parson will have the first down at the Hornets' 11-yard line before he's corralled and taken out of bounds.
Now, if you're the Hornets, if you're a defensive back, you might want to loosen up just a little bit. You want to try to keep the receivers in front of you, but you can't worry about getting beat deep now. You're in a real short situation being in the red zone. So you got to be real aggressive and look for that run support.
First down, high snap. Handoff, Parson. Maybe a yard. Nope, nothing. Back to the line of scrimmage, 2nd down and 10.
Cavalcante and Christian Johnson in on that tackle. Good job again by Cavalcante of just, getting inside those holes, those nooks and crannies, and coming up with a leg.
Here Newton drops back, wants to pass, has to scramble. He'll be caught in the backfield for a loss and a penalty marker down around the 4-yard line.
The quarterback keeper, penalty flag on the play.
We'll have to wait and see what the penalty is about. Newton lost yardage. Well, he got back to the line of scrimmage, they're going to say.
Holding defense, number 2. Half the distance to the goal.
Half the distance to the goal line, and they retain 2nd down after the holding penalty on the defense. And it didn't have to happen because Newton was in no position to throw that ball.
When guys are getting beat, sometimes they make the mistake of just wanting to grab somebody to slow them down. And I didn't get a number on that last call, but I'm interested to see who got tagged with that.
All they said was holding defense, so we didn't get the culprit, and now we have a short timeout on the field. Kalen Newton loves to play against Delaware State. Last year, he threw for 313 yards over in D.C. against the Hornets. Season high 5 touchdowns in that game for Kalen Newton. And he is really giving the Hornets a hard time today.
You know, Howard's actually enjoyed having Delaware State on their schedule for the past 3 years because they've managed to take care of business against the Hornets.
Kalen Newton can give a lot of teams a hard time. Here we go with second down and goal at the 6-yard line. No, it's not second and goal. It's 2nd and 5 from the 6. Newton looks to the sideline quickly, comes back, takes the snap, rolls right side, looking end zone, pulls it down. He's going to run with it, and he gets taken down from behind. Good pursuit by Brandon Carswell.
Carswell, the super senior, the graduate defensive end, again, doing a good job of disengaging with that offensive lineman and just skating down the line of scrimmage and pulling Newton down from behind.
2-yard gain. Bison back to the line of scrimmage quickly. Newton going to have to throw that one away as pressure was coming up the middle and was right in his face. Breaking through, Christian Johnson, number 94, the defensive lineman, brings up 4th down. Down to 7 seconds left in the half here. This will be the last play, or should be the last play, of this first half. Hornets have to keep the Bison out of the end zone, or they go into the locker room under a big deficit. It's already big enough, 9 points. They don't want it to be more. And Howard to go for it here on 4th down at the 4-yard line. And another timeout being called here.
Timeout.
And I believe this one called by Delaware State, as they want to make sure they have the right defense dialed in here to try to keep Howard out of the end zone.
To go for it in this situation indicates they have zero confidence in their kicking game, and that's something Delaware State needs to pay attention to. You know, they're not going to try any field goals. I get the impression they're not going to try any field goals at any point in this game that aren't shorter than extra points.
Well, they gave up on extra point kicks after the second one. That third touchdown, they went for 2. The first extra point was wide right. The second one was blocked, and Delaware State returned it downfield for 2 points. Second game in a row they managed to do that. And one of the most unusual plays in football, and we've seen it 2 in a row. So here we go, 4th down and 3 from the 4-yard line, but nobody's worried about a first down here with 7 seconds left in the half. Newton barks out his signals, brings the receiver in motion. Now looking right side, nobody open, throwing middle, broken up by the Hornets.
Newton's pass is incomplete.
Nice play inside, good coverage. Newton throwing straight across the middle, trying to go to the end zone, and it was broken up by Delaware State, and the Hornets will get it with 1 second left on the clock. So the offense will go on to the field, the ball at their own 4-yard line. You have 2 choices here. Kneel down or just wing it downfield and say a prayer.
After seeing, them struggle in the second quarter and actually the latter part of the first quarter, I'm under the assumption Coach Milstead's just going to call for a quick kneel down and get everybody into the locker rooms for some debriefing.
And that's the formation they show. That will bring an end to the first half here in Dover, Delaware. Howard leads Delaware State 18-9 as the teams go to the locker room. This is HSRN, the voice of HBCU sports, and you're watching MEAC football on ESPN3.
So let's get after it. What would you like the power to do?
What's that? Delaware State University. I'm Gary Lang along with Mike Walker as we get ready for the second half. With Delaware State trailing Howard 18-9, a little bit of a surprise. A lot of people thought that the Hornets would come out here with a strong offense in the first half today with homecoming and the big crowd. But after that first drive that went 84 yards for a score, they were unable to put it together offensively.
Definitely spurted Gary, and it just, seems like sometimes a combination of plays that they're running and some of the mental breakdowns and some of the penalties and, the rare turnovers that we didn't see before in the offense have surfaced. But I've been in these situations before when one side of the ball is playing well and the other side is struggling. So when they went into the halftime, the defense was told, basically, hold the line, fellas, keep doing what you're doing. The offense, they tried to light a fire under them, but let them know, look, you've proven that you can move the ball down the field. It's up to you guys. All we can do is write it up and put it on a chalkboard. You guys have to take it off the board and turn it into reality. We can't tell you how to break tackles or not how to jump off sides. These are things you guys have to take ownership of. So we'll see how that pep talk worked in the second half.
And for the Hornets, they'll be kicking off to start the second half. And returned upfield, out across the 30, 35-yard line, fighting to the 40-yard line on the return for Howard University. They're set up in good position to start off this second half.
That defense has had a lot of work in the first half, Gary, and it's a hot day today. So, we'll see if there's a fatigue factor that enters into that defense and what impact it has on this game. But right now, all the starters are in the game right now, and I don't see anybody limping or pulling on any hamstrings.
Kalen Newton had a great first half, completes his first pass here in the second half, and it goes to Damian Gillespie. He had a pretty good first half, too. Caught some important passes. A gain of 3 out to the 43-yard line, and it's second down. Gillespie comes up limping and will go off the field.
Yeah, he waved to the sideline that he needed somebody to check something out on him. He goes out under his own power, but I think he was a little shaken up on that play.
Newton using a combination of running attack and short passes to pick apart that Delaware State defense here this afternoon. Now he has Tayshawn Porter in motion to the right side. The handoff goes straight into the middle, and a big tackle made there on the carry by Dedrick Parson, and it was Alexander Lozano, the linebacker, on the tackle.
Lozano doing a good job of just necktying him and bringing him down for a very, very, very short gain. He just collapsed out of his outside linebacker position into that interior and came out with the ball carrier.
3rd down and 5 now for Kalen Newton and the Howard Bison from their own 45-yard line. Takes the snap and drops back. No pressure this time. Collapses a little bit. Completes the pass. Let's see where they mark forward progress. And it looks like it could be a little bit short here on the completion. Tayshawn Porter on the reception. And the nose of the ball short of the 50-yard line. They had to get to the 50 for the first down. So on 4th down and less than a yard at midfield, the Bison will go for it. This won't be a quarterback following the center either. Wait a minute. The officials now blow the whistle. Did we have a marker back in the secondary? Is that a penalty marker down on the 30-yard line or just some debris? Yeah.
Again, slow transition by Delaware State University.
5 yards.
12 men on the field. 5-yard step off to the 46-yard line, just inside the 46-yard line. And the Bison get a first down out of that penalty. Newton has a receiver in motion to the left side now. Drops back, throws, quick out, complete at the 41-yard line.
Complete to number 81, Kyle Anthony. Second
Kyle
down,
Anthony
Howard.
on the catch. 5-yard gain, 2nd and 5.
Just basic pitch and catch.
Yeah.
It's 2nd and 5.
It's
Anthony
working
doing a
for
good
them.
job of showing a deep pattern, breaking it off. Good timing on the pass by Newton. Delaware State's Devin Smith in on the tackle, just having to show respect to the speed of that man so he doesn't get beat. He allows him to just catch the ball in front of him.
Some shifts on the line as a man goes in motions, and he was the guy who was covering the outside edge. They'll keep it on the ground now and get up to the 38-yard line. Pick up of just over 2-yard line. Dedrick Parson,
Kristen Johnson on the tackle.
who's had a busy afternoon here.
That's going to bring up a 3rd and short situation for Howard University and Delaware State. This is going to be a huge play for them. They don't want any penalties. They just want to be able to face this Howard offense and see if they can create a kicking position,
On
situation.
3rd down, Newton, look, incomplete, broken up. Beautiful coverage for Delaware State by Jawayne Granger. He's had a couple here this afternoon, breaking up the pass intended for Kyle Anthony.
Good job by Granger, breaking that ball up, going through the wide receiver, putting one hand on the wide receiver, the other hand out there for the ball. So in the event that he did catch it, he still would have been shy of the 1st down.
Bison to go for it on 4th down and 3. They've been pretty efficient on these 4th down plays this afternoon. Now it's Cornwell in motion to the right side, and Newton drops back. Pressure, throws, complete. 1st down, Bison at the Hornets' 33-yard line.
Cavalcanti on the tackle there. He just hooked up in that middle linebacker zone and settled his big body past the 1st down marker, and the timing on the pass was good by Newton, and it's enough to pick up the 1st down.
Kyle Anthony on the reception. The snap goes over Newton's head, and it is covered for the Bison back around the 48-yard line. The running back managed to get back there and fall on the ball, and he took a big hit after he fell on that football, Dedrick Parson. But it is a big loss on that play.
2nd and 24. Ball on the DSU 46.
So if you're Del State, you have to be conscious that they're probably going to try to go deep. They're going to stretch you. They're going to see if they can hit a home run. You got to play solid defense and look to break up the pass, not to intercept it.
2nd and 24 at the Hornets' 46. Newton on the screen to the right side, complete. They'll pick up a couple of yards up to the Delaware State 42-yard line. Still 3rd down and long yardage to go.
Again, Delaware State doing a good job with that interior defensive line of getting to Kalen Newton. He's getting up off the carpet after almost every pass that he throws, and the more that they touch this man, the more it's going to impact his play later in the game.
3rd down, 20 yards to go. This dangerous passer, dangerous runner as well. Kalen Newton takes the snap. Good snap. Pressure coming a little bit. Throws over the middle. Complete. Receiver short of the 1st down. Spin move. Tries to get away from tacklers. And now it's that rugby scrum again at the Delaware State 35-yard line.
So it's a 4th down situation.
4th down!
They don't clearly not going to go for any type of a field goal. They don't feel comfortable with a field goal inside the 20. They may opt to try to draw Delaware State University offsides, but if not,
well, a 5-yard penalty still wouldn't give them a 1st down. It's 4th and 13.
Right, so it's just good deep, keep everybody in front of you.
A lot of time for Newton to throw. Complete, but it's going to be short of the 1st down by about a yard as he's taken down at the 23-yard line after making the catch. A Hornet shaken up on the play. It was David Terrell Jr. who made the catch at the 23. He had to get to the 22.
And that's going to be good defense by Delaware State University. They've played very exceptional, Gary. The score doesn't really reflect the job that they've done.
Well, his defense has played extremely well. It's the offense that just has not been able to get track.
Media timeout.
And with the injury, we'll have a timeout here on the field. This is HSRN, the voice of HBCU sports. You're watching MEAC. Come back to action here from Alumni Stadium in Dover, Delaware. Gary Lang and Mike Walker, and it's Hornets ball. They'll run it into the middle, and they'll try to get something going with Bryant Dallas. And he didn't find much as that defensive line stacked him up with no gain on the play.
On the last possession Delaware State had, it was 3 consecutive run plays to Brian Dallas, again, inside those tackles. And, you know, they got to give Howard's defensive line some credit. They're playing very well up front. They got a 4-man front.
Here's quarterback Bethea rolling to his right, throwing, and it's just off the fingertips of Charles Peeler. He's been the target a few times today and unable to pull any of them in. And again, he's the smaller receiver, and it seems like if he was just a little bit taller, he'd have those catches, either over his head or that one off his fingertips.
Right, and, you know, it was high for a kid his height. However, you got to make those plays. You got to get off your feet. You got to make some things happen. So, you know, we are definitely in one of those situations where we need a playmaker right now. Somebody has to come up big and make some plays.
3rd down and 10 for Delaware State. Bethea, a lot of time in the backfield, throwing downfield. Colley looked like he was held up. The fans are looking for the flag, and nothing has appeared on the field. Kwana Colley downfield around the 45-yard line, and there was contact. He was being held up and could not get to the ball.
Yeah, and that could be the case. It was pretty good protection for Bethea in the pocket, and he put that ball out there. A lot of contact, but I guess the officials saw it that there was contact between both of them. So, again, regardless of that particular call, it's, again, a 3-and-out situation for Del State's offense. They're really playing anemic right now.
Yeah, if they had the NFL rule where you could challenge the no call, the Hornets might have a first down right now on looking at the play again. So 3 and out, and they'll punt. And Delaware State has called timeout here.
Delaware State.
To stop action. And kind of an unusual timeout as they line up on 4th down and 10 for the punt.
Coach Milstead still livid about that last play, working those officials, let them know they blew that one. But, you know, at the end of the day, it was 3rd and 10 on that particular pass play. And, you know, Del State on its prior 2 plays to that pass, you know, literally got no yards. And you're not going to be able to knock off the level of play that you're going to face in this league if you can't get 2, 3, 4 yards every time you run the ball.
Field judge Tony Vaughn may think twice about what he just did. He walked over to Coach Coach Milstead to try to talk to him about the play. He heard more than he was able to explain. Here we go, 4th and 10 as the Hornets set up the punt. One fake punt earlier in the game didn't work. We don't expect to see that again. Fidel Romo Martinez, this one's low, it will bounce, it will be picked up, and getting away from a would-be tackler on the return. Across midfield, breaking a tackle, now down to the Hornets' 32-yard line, and had he gotten away from that tackle by Isaiah Williams, it would have been Fidel Romo Martinez who would have had to try to stop the touchdown.
Parsons remains down on the carpet, maybe a cramp of some sort. I don't think he's hurt. I hope he's not hurt.
No. The way he's sitting there and the way they're working on him, and, you know, this is the hot afternoon. If these guys don't hydrate extremely well, then they can run into cramping. And he had some contact as he went down, so that could be the issue for the running back, Dedrick Parson, who's been the offensive running workhorse here for the Bison. They'll get him up, and he heads to the sideline just a little gingerly, as if you've had that leg cramp in the calf, you know that when you walk for a moment or so afterward, you do it a little gingerly, because if you don't, it's going to come right back.
Yeah, he asked for some fluids, and he's still drinking on the way to the sideline, so clearly it's got to be some type of spasm-related injury, not anything to bones or ligaments.
Hornets have given Kalen Newton, the MEAC Rookie of the Year in 2017, good field position here. 1st and 10 at the Delaware State 30-yard line. Newton hands off on 1st down. The give is to Joshua Crute, I believe.
Josiah Crute on the carry. 2nd down for the Bison.
Josiah Crute on the carry for the Bison for a yard. up to the 29-yard line.
Again, those yards are real stingy when you run against that Delaware State University box. Those linebackers, they like to fill those gaps. They like to make tackles on the other side of the ball, so it's going to be tough to pick up yards for Howard.
Good snap to Newton, cutting outside of the right tackle, and good containment in there to give Crute running room up to the Delaware State 25-yard line. They sealed it inside so that he could take it outside the right tackle. 3rd and 5. If you counted time of possession and yardage gained, you'd probably have an idea that this score would be even more lopsided than the 18-9 lead that Howard has right now. On 3rd and 5, the snap to Newton. Drops back. Gets away from any pressure. Complete on the left side. Caught. Taken down inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal for Howard after the reception by Damian Gillespie. And a Hornet down back at the 36-yard line.
Gillespie covered by Brooks Parker on that play, and Parker's just that linebacker who, that shifty wide receiver got to step on, and that's all you need when you're a wide receiver, a step on a linebacker to catch that ball in the flats and pick up some yards.
And I think we may have a cramping situation here for the Delaware State defensive lineman who was in on the rush. And then on the pileup, he ended up down on the field and is being attended to by the trainers. Need tickets to an event? Go to MagicCityTickets.com. Magic City Tickets, your tickets to the world. Another injury timeout here in the 3rd quarter as things slowed down a little bit. Good crowd here for homecoming. Early homecoming. Most homecomings are in October, but Coach Milstead wanted this one early in the season. He wanted to get the alums here to see this team early in the season.
And, listen, they prepared for this game, had some extra time off, and, were really focused. After that Lincoln game, there were a lot of guys who got a lot of play. I thought the team made some tremendous strides forward, but right now the defense still looks solid across the board, but that offense really isn't positioning the defense to be as successful as they can be by constantly forcing them to keep this game close.
Christian Johnson was shaken up on the play. He trots off the field now, and we're ready to go. 1st and goal at the 9-yard line now for Howard. High snap, Newton grabs it, pulls it down, hands off on 1st down, and they're down just about to the 5-yard line on the play. Crute on the carry. Hornets will have a short week, too, after this, as they have the Thursday night game down at Greensboro against North Carolina A&T.
Right, they got to lick their wounds, Gary, pack their bags, and get ready to hit the road because, they still got to worry about this game. They have to get a victory here to make the next game even more meaningful.
They'll be up against the defending past 2 seasons, the champions of the MEAC. We have a penalty marker, and it's going to be illegal procedure on Howard to set them back 5 yards.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat the.
So there's a break for Delaware State as they move the Bison back to the 10-yard line. Line of scrimmage was the 5.
Christian, who was out, Christian Johnson, who was out for one play, he's back in, Gary. So it had to be cramp related.
Yeah.
And hopefully that 5 yards will give us the difference that we need to stop them on this drive.
Newton takes the snap, scrambles right side, pursuit, steps up, gets knocked down at the sideline, got the pins taken out from underneath of him, down at the 8-yard line.
Devin Smith cut both his legs out from underneath him, and that was great pursuit to flush him out of the pocket, and then just good run support by the defensive back.
Newton trying to pick up that extra yard before going out of bounds, paid the price as he got taken down well inbounds. No chance of a penalty there. Got to the 7, 3rd down and goal.
They're going to take 2 shots at this. I don't expect them to go for a field goal, so Del State has to keep them out on this play.
It's obvious the Bison don't have a kicking game. Newton looks right, nowhere to throw. Turns, throws left, incomplete. His intended receiver was actually out of bounds in the end zone by the time the ball got there. So it'll be 4th down and goal from the 9.
DeAndre Blue Eli.
Check that, the 7.
DeAndre Blue Eli on that coverage, Gary. He got there late, but he still was there to put hands on that wide receiver. And, you know, even though he might have been out of bounds, he was still in position to make a play.
Newton looked right first. Nobody open there, so he checked down and looked to the left side. I don't think had he thrown the ball when he did, he would have had a chance to look for another receiver.
The D-backs are doing a good job of maintaining strong coverage short in the routes, but, you know, they're struggling when Newton extends the play by running.
4th down, Bison. Pressure, scrambles, right side, directs traffic, steps up, runs, spins at the 5-yard line, gets down to the 2, and the Hornets defense will hold. They'll get the ball on downs inside their own 5-yard line.
What a great job. That is just great team defense, Gary. And, you know, I'm excited about what I see on that side of the ball. You know, if they can continuously play like that, it won't be long before the offense catches up to them, and then we're going to have that dominant team that I think we're seeing glimpses of in moments in this particular game.
Well, with 5:19 left in the third quarter, the Hornets are faced with the daunting task of going 98 yards on this possession. They haven't been able to put together a drive since the opening series.
You know, at some point you have to become a team. You have to become a unit. I can't think of a better time for this offense than right now.
2-yard line.
This could be part of the maturing process for this offensive unit. Remember, it's a freshman quarterback in there, and they're still trying to put things together. They'll give it to Bryant Dallas, run it up the middle, and he'll pick up 5 yards out to the 7-yard line on 1st down.
Going to give him a little bit of breathing room so he won't be throwing in the shadow of the end zone. But again, they got to be aggressive. They got to keep that solid mix of short pass to support the run.
Again, they'll give it to Dallas. The offensive line pushes forward. He picks up a couple more. Let's see where they're going to mark him to just outside the 10-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and just under 2 yards to go for the Hornets.
When they roll Tyleek Bethea to his right or his left, he has to become more run conscious. I know this is a kid who wants to establish that he's a throwing quarterback, but there are going to be opportunities for him to pick up big yards if he just tucks and runs.
And he can do that. On 3rd down, a long count. They'll run it right side, try to stretch it out. Dallas, upfield to the 20, 25-yard line, and then out of bounds. Got to turn the corner. All he had to do was get past that defensive player and take it down the sideline, and that is a big 1st down for Delaware State. But hold on, back at the 17-yard line, we have a marker on the field.
And it doesn't bode well for Delaware State University.
And the linesman,
Holding offense
Stephen
number
Greer,
66. Half the distance to the goal.
moves
Repeat
the
3rd
thing
down.
up a little bit. Caden Crawford will get called for the hold, and that negates a very fine run. So let's see, they'll put the ball down back at the Hornets' 8-yard line. And it will be 3rd down and 4. The step off from the point of infraction. And that's why Delaware State only lost 2 yards on the play. 3rd and 4, can they do it again? Can they get this 1st down? They had it on a nice play. They give it to Dallas into the middle, breaks through a couple of tacklers, and he had to get out to the 13-yard line. They're going to mark his progress out to the 14-yard line. Should be a 1st down for the Hornets.
And that's Mike Ward as they brought him in, Gary, because
Yep,
they know
you're right.
he's tough between those guards and those tackle holes. He's definitely about his north and south game, and we need to see a little bit more of that because Howard is going to yield some yards in the run, but it won't be on the flanks. It'll be inside the interior, and it's not going to be a whole lot. It might be 4 or 5 yards a pop. We need guys who can hit those holes and commit to running north and south.
Coming into the day, Waters, the leading rusher on the team, only 11 carries, but averaging 7.5 yards per carry. There's a pass completion out at the 35-yard line and still on his feet, fighting up to the 39-yard line. Guess who it is? Bizette Woodley, the freshman. makes himself known here today.
He owes us a touchdown, too, at some point in this game, Gary, because he's got 2 touchdowns. And he's got a touchdown in each one of the games that he's played in. He's a big target. I liked how Talik Bethea remained in the pocket, watched him hit that deep cross, and hit him right between the 8s.
1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. This one doesn't go anywhere as they give it to Waters. Manages to fight his way back to the line of scrimmage, but it will be 2nd down and 10.
Too much penetration by that defensive line by Howard University, and too many Hornets standing up after initial contact by the by the running back Waters. And again, those offensive linemen, I want them on those blocks. I want them to sustain them, and I want them to drive the guy on his side of the ball.
Waters in the backfield with Bethea. 2 receivers split out on the left side, 1 on the right side, the tight end in tight. They'll give it to Waters again. Tripped as he comes out of the backfield, falls forward maybe to the 41-yard line. But they'll mark him at the 40, so it's only a gain of a yard on the play. Now the Hornets face 3rd and long yardage again, 3rd and 9.
And it makes it, an obvious passing situation. And, Delaware State, while they had a very balanced offense last week, I think it was 209 running, 209 passing. Right now they're struggling running the ball. They got to be able to rely on their pass game. And, Bethea has to make some big throws. More importantly, guys have to make big catches.
Bethea on 3rd and 9, drops back, has time. Over the middle, complete, but it's going to be short of the 1st down as he gets it to Charles Peeler on that crossing pattern.
He hits Peeler, but the defender was draped over his back, and he just doesn't have any separation after the reception. So, again, it's a completion, but not enough for the 1st down. And that's what happens when you have those 3rd and long situations.
It's 4th down and 5. The offensive unit making a little bit of appeal to the sideline to try to stay on, but no, not at our own 44-yard line at this point in the game, the way Howard has been able to pick up yardage.
So Coach Collick, I have the Coach Collick bug too. Yeah. Coach Milstead, recognizing that his defense is playing well, is literally trying to flip the field and pin Howard deep on their side of the ball. He needs cooperation out of Romo Martinez. He's got to put a big foot into this punt.
He's been hot and cold on punting here today. Good snap, pressure, and he hangs it up high. This one will hit and take a good bounce, and Howard's going to let it go. Bounces back. Delaware State will cover it at the 25-yard line. So that's not bad. They would have liked to have tied him up maybe a few yards further back, but he got a good hang time on it and no return.
Again, Howard, they came after that punt, and Romo Martinez.
Up in here, y'all gon' make me go all out.
How do we go?
Back to action here at Delaware State University. As the Bison try to run it up the middle, that Hornet defense had nothing to let them have. As they stack it up in the middle, 3 tacklers there to make the stop on Clute. 3-yard loss, 2nd down and 13.
The storyline was essentially that Delaware State had the best defensive player in the conference going up against the best offensive player. And I can tell you, in that particular battle, I think Delaware State University is coming out on top. The problem is
the 3rd quarter.
On the other battle, our offense versus their defense. Right now, our offense is really struggling.
Well, they're going to switch the field here as we end the 3rd quarter at Delaware State University with the score Howard 18, Delaware State 9. You're watching MEAC football on ESPN3, and you're listening to HSRN, the voice of HBCU sports.
Rookie.
All kinds of guests for our here. It's 1st down for Howard. Check that, it was 2nd down and 13 A quick pass out on the left side up to the 27-yard line. A gain on the play maybe of about 5 yards.
To number 87, Michael Cornwell.
Michael Cornwell on the receiving end of that pass for Howard. So it's 3rd down and 9 for the Bison. Here's where this Hornets defense could help themselves a whole lot. Newton with a long count. Takes the snap, drops back, a little bit of pressure, rolls left side, passes complete, wide open down near the 50-yard line, and pulling it in was Kyle Anthony. Zone coverage, and he got through it.
Yeah, Granger was underneath, and Devin Smith was over top, and as Newton was getting drilled by Cavalcante, he just put the ball up where he knew his receiver would eventually be, and he caught the ball. They're making the type of plays that you have to make to win football games.
First down for the Bison at the Hornets' 45-yard line. Swing pass, left side, tried to set up that bubble screen, and they lost a couple of yards on the play. The Hornets were very quick on recovery there. It was Kyle Anthony with the catch to lose 2 back to the 47.
Howard ducked the bullet on that play because the intended wide receiver had never really established he was set on that play. The officials weren't really paying attention. And, he was moving when the ball was snapped. Moving, literally still recovering from the last play.
It's 2nd and 12. Ball in the DSU 43-yard.
2nd down, 12, as the Hornets trying to do something here to make a stop and get the ball to their offense. High snap to Newton. Hands off, left side. It is Parson who gets back to the original line of scrimmage, the 45-yard line. It's 3rd down and 10. But so far today, 3rd down and long yardage has just been for Kalen Newton like, okay, we'll make it. He's done it continually.
He's made some big plays on 3rd down, but then again, this defense has really had a bend but don't break mentality, and right now they really need to turn that switch on.
High snap, bobbled in the backfield. Newton has to run with it. He'll be knocked out of bounds right around the 45-yard line, and that play broke down because of the high snap. Newton bobbled the snap, managed to pull it in, and ran to the sideline. They will punt. No trying for it in this field position with 4th down and 9 at the Hornets' 44-yard line.
So Coach Milstead, he gambled correctly when he put his punting team out there and didn't go with the 4th down attempt like his offense was requesting. He's hoping that hopefully he can make something happen on this punt return, get good field position, and better position the offense to do something.
Isaiah Moore, left-footed kicker, punts it. It bounces and takes a backward bounce, a Hornets bounce, and it's picked up by the Hornets. They'll return it out to the 42-yard line. We have multiple penalty markers on the field at 3 different locations.
Isaiah Williams on the punt return. Penalty flag on the play.
We had a marker down around the line of scrimmage. We have one a little further upfield, and I thought I saw one at the 30-yard line as well. So we'll have to see what those are about here in the 4th quarter. 12 minutes left. Delaware State needs to get something going right now offensively if they want this game.
Got to get the ball into their playmakers' hands.
And it looks like these penalties will go against Delaware State. And it's a 15-yard step-off against the Hornets from where the infraction occurred. They're stepping it off from the 41-yard line back to the Delaware State 26. We haven't heard yet what the penalty was. Took away a pretty nice return, though.
During the kick, receiving team, a 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. They'll retain possession, 1st down.
Well, a 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick means they're going to have to reset this ball. Now they've taken it at the 43-yard line, which is where the end of the kick was, and they will... Why are they putting it at the 26 if it was the end of the kick on a 10-yard penalty? He got out past the 36. I don't understand the spot of the ball here. And the officials still don't seem to really be sure of where they should be putting this ball.
It looks like they're getting ready to set the down markers 10 yards from where it started, and they're looking like they're going to walk up some additional yards.
Well, that's the way they're facing the Hornets' end zone, as if they're going to step in that direction. But unless they rule that the player went out of bounds there at the 26, and that's where the play ended, and that could be what happened there, that the return man might have stepped out of bounds coming up the sideline, stopping that play at the 26. Now that if they step off 10 yards, it'll put the ball back to the Hornets' 16. A little bit of confusion here as referee Robert Fraser is on his microphone and headset, getting some words of advice from umpire Frank Trevino. But we're trying to figure out what they're going to do. In the meantime, American Spirit Federal step off.
During the kick, holding
The penalty.
by the receiving team. Half the distance to the goal from the end of the kick. The end of the kick was the 18-yard line.
The
Be
distance
first down.
to the goal from the end of the kick. They're saying the end of the kick was the 18-yard line. So that puts the ball back to the 11. And I'm working on that math. Actually, yes, it's the 9. The multiple lines down there on the field, as this is also used as a soccer field and a lacrosse field. Had to sort out the lines. Hornets will start it off. 12 minutes left to play here. They are down by 9. And they had to go 91 yards. Tyleik Bethea trying to get it going. Throwing down deep. It will be caught. No, not caught. And they're saying intercepted at the 40-yard line. It looked like Collie had made the catch, and a defender came in and took it out of his hands as he was just about on the ground. And it'll be the Bison ball at the 40-yard
Results of
line.
the play is an
First and
interception.
10 situation, Delaware State needing, to drive down the field. They opted to go for the home run out the gate, and that ball just hung a little bit too high and allowed that free safety to kind of wander over there and make a good play on that ball. And that very last second, bam, he makes an interception. And just like that, Howard has the ball back.
Elijah Coleman, I believe, on the interception. Bison ball. Hornets need to take one away themselves. Hold on, the officials say. Not ready.
The ruling on the field is an interception. The previous play is under review.
They're going to review whether or not that was an interception or an incomplete pass, whether the ball made contact with the ground. And we can get a look at it here as well. And the catch was made, and it was Rodney Denard who made the catch. And it looked like he held it all the way through, Mike.
Yeah, it looked like they may have a different angle, but from my angle, it looked as if his arm was underneath that interception. He just rolled with the ball.
We were seeing the angle from the opposite end zone from behind the play, and it sure looked like he went in there and made a clean interception and went all the way to the ground with the ball, and it didn't come out. The
Delaware State
officials will look.
just hoping that there's an angle that will prove the point.
Referee Robert Fraser and field judge Tony Vaughn over looking at the replay. If it stands, it will be a Bison ball at the Hornets' 40-yard line.
I don't see them overturning this.
Now, Thrive Physical Therapy in Middletown is a proud supporter.
Of an intercept. Confirmed. First down.
Well, the microphone glitching out there, so you caught every couple of syllables, but the indication is first down, Howard.
So now they're asking that Delaware State defense to go out there one more time and make something happen, to give the offense another opportunity to get out there and put some points on the board. And keep in mind, it's going to have to be a two-score situation for Delaware State's offense, because right now they're trailing by 9.
An offense that hasn't been able to get anything going since early in the first quarter. It's Cameron Newton at quarterback for Howard. Turns around, looks like a busted play. He looked around to hand that ball off, and instead nobody was there. He got sacked in the backfield, but a marker down. This is going to be a face mask. Somebody got a hold of Newton's face mask.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 55. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Brooks Parker, as he went by, reached out and grabbed and got Newton's face mask. So instead of a loss of yardage of about 8 yards, it's a 15-yard gain on the personal foul. Put it at the Hornets' 25-yard line. Down to 11:40 left in the game.
Started off as looking like maybe a tackle for a significant loss. Ended up becoming a tremendous gift for Howard University.
It was a 23-yard play. Instead of an 8-yard loss, it was a 15-yard pickup. Newton, this time, hands it off on first down, gives it straight ahead to Josiah Crute. We have not seen Dedrick Parsons since he was injured in the third quarter. 4-yard gain on the play, second down and 6.
It's second down and 6. Ball on the DSU 21-yard line.
Kalen Newton, a junior, establishing himself as one of the better quarterbacks in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Takes that snap, hands off on second down, and they go straight ahead, as now they're starting to dominate that line of scrimmage because that defense has just been on the field way too long for Delaware State. Crute on the carry again, brings up third down and 3.
Again, this is 2-down territory for Howard University. So if you're Del State, you have to make a huge play on this particular play right here. You can't give them a 4th and short situation.
Newton, they'll keep it on the ground, hammer it forward, and it's going to be very close to a first down.
The initial spot, looks like it's going to be just shy of the first down, Gary.
Yep.
4th down!
Newton hasn't gone under center one single time today. So you wouldn't expect it to be that quarterback keeper right up the middle. Third down and less than a yard to go.
It's 4th and 1. Ball
They
on
huddle
the
up.
16-yard line.
Newton gives them a play in the huddle. Haven't seen many huddles today. Newton, high snap, hands it off, fakes the handoff. He'll keep it. Goes around the right side, breaks a tackle, and finally is knocked out of bounds at the Delaware State 9-yard line, and that's first and goal for Howard.
It's 1st and goal.
Smart move by Howard. Delaware State very heavy in the interior. They didn't even want to challenge it. They allowed Newton to kind of give a play-action look for the run inside and just bounce outside for the first.
Again, a bit of a high snap. Hand off to Crute. Hit in the backfield. He'll lose. Back to the 13-yard line. That's a 4-yard loss on the play. And the Hornets just blew that line of scrimmage up.
And they've had a lot of success in stopping Howard for losses in the run game. And, again, even though it was a first down pickup, we've seen a situation before where Howard gets real close and that Hornet defense gets real stingy inside that deep red zone.
Second down and goal for the Bison. Newton throwing to the end zone. It is dropped. Incomplete. The receiver had to turn around with coverage tight on him. Anthony, the intended receiver, couldn't hold on to it. It's third and goal from the 13.
Devin Smith's politicking for a push-off, and I thought I might actually agree with him on that play. There's a little bit too much contact and a little bit too much pushing by the wide receiver. This incidental contact, and when you see those arms extend by the wide receiver, that's a push-off. And he got away with a call on that play.
Hornets need a stop here on this third down play. Newton rolls right. Pressure was there. He just barely got rid of that ball as the blitz was on by Brooks Parker, and that made the pass go down into the ground. It's 4th down and goal from the 13. Hornets not out of the woods yet. Newton has one more play.
They got to just really protect against the edges, getting behind them, throwing those fade routes. The defensive backs have to understand, how to look up when that receiver looks up in order to make a better play on the ball. When you're looking at the ball as a defender, you have a much better opportunity to make a play than if your back's to it.
Single back in the backfield with Kalen Newton. Newton, long snap count, drops back. The rush there, throwing, and threw behind his intended receiver. A bit of confusion on that play for Howard, and one of the few times a miscue of that nature today. Hornets take it over on downs from their own 13-yard line. Can they go 87 yards and get back into this game down by 9?
They sure can. There's plenty of time left.
We'll take a timeout. This you're watching. From Alumni Stadium at Delaware State University, Gary Lang and Mike Walker. As the Hornets, Delaware State trying to get something going here with just over 8 minutes left in the game. They'll run the ball on first down from the 13-yard line and bang it out to the 17. Pickup of 4 on the play. When it comes to your car or truck, trust the Duck. Fred Drake Automotive, 378-4877. 2nd and 6. Talik Bethea, the freshman quarterback, not having the kind of success today he had last week. Throwing incomplete. Looked like some early contact again as he tried to get it out to Jordan Hanna on that inside route. Ball was knocked away from Hanna. 3rd and 6. But you got to hold on to that ball.
Yeah, they're not really used to making receptions when they're receiving contact. And that's a skill set you have to develop. And you develop that during practice. That's not something you can figure out how to do in games.
3rd down play, 2 backs in the backfield with Bethea. He drops back, pocket forms, throws downfield way over the head of Trey Gross. And it'll bring up 4th down and 6.
Looked like Gross was kind of double covered on that particular play, and Bethea was trying to drop it into a very small window, and again, that's just a difficult pass to make going away from the quarterback.
Caden Crawford, the offensive lineman, had his headgear come off on that play. He had to come off for this next play, but he would have anyway because special teams are going out there, and the Hornets will punt.
Fidel Martinez will punt for Delaware State.
Fidel Romo Martinez inside his own 5 to take the snap. So they're giving up field position here. Pressure, block kick. Loose ball, still loose, and Howard recovers it at the 17-yard line.
Huge special teams play by Howard University, Delaware State. Again, a little lax on that punt, and it's just terrible results for Del State.
So the Bison will get it right back at the Delaware State 17-yard line.
I don't know how many stops this defense has left in it because it's done a great job of keeping this game close. But, offense is designed to score points. Defense isn't. So it's only a matter of time before Howard, before Kalen Newton hooks up with one of these wide receivers or somebody breaks a run to put some more points on the board.
He's hooked up with a couple of them already today. He's put up some big numbers on the afternoon. They'll keep the ball on the ground. Big hole through the middle and into the end zone for a touchdown goes Josiah Crute. 17-yard touchdown run, untouched as they blew a big hole through the line of scrimmage.
We had a whole bunch of linebackers vacating. We had D-backs in man coverage. So when he hit that second level, there was literally nobody there to tackle him. Just a good call against the right time against that Delaware State defense.
Hit the line of scrimmage and just cut it a little bit to the outside and stayed away from any defensive backs that might be hanging out in the middle for the touchdown. We knew this was going to be a tough game both ways. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised by the final score, that it wasn't a close game.
You know, you hear this all the time about the score not reflecting the game, and in some of those points that Howard scored were, you know, the benefits of turnovers.
They're looking for 2 here. The pass is incomplete, out of the hands of the intended receiver, Kyle Anthony. Ball was thrown over his outside shoulder. He tried to scramble around, but got his feet tangled up, fell down, lost possession of the football. So we have 7:09 left in the game. It's Howard 24, Delaware State 9, and we have a timeout on the field. You're watching.
Up in here, y'all gon' make me go all out. Up.
Mike Walker at Delaware State University, Alumni Stadium, 7:09 left in the game. The Hornets down by 15 here. Bison putting a hurting on them in this game. Delaware State in need of a really good kickoff return here. To kind of flip the script a little bit. It's a short kick. It's taken by Colley in the middle, up the right, the far side hash mark, and as he crosses the 25-yard line, gets taken down on a good one-on-one shoulder into the gut tackle. And that return stops at the Delaware State 27.
Right now, Howard University is just playing with more confidence than Delaware State University is. The only time that flips is when that defense is out there because they know they're a little bit overmatched. But again, they've had such great field position because of, you know, poor special teams play or poor offensive play that it's made it almost impossible for the defense to really stop this Howard offense. They got weapons. They got experienced weapons on Howard's side of the ball.
Actually, there's at this point in the game, they're still doing fairly well considering the amount of time they've been on the field in this warm day. Hornets will keep it on the ground here on first down and pound out a first down out to the 40-yard line. Richard Harris getting his first call of the game.
First and 10.
They have to make up a lot of ground very quickly here. That was a good start. Harris again blowing through a bit of a hole and getting out to the 47-yard line. That's a 7-yard gain to make it second down and 3.
Just like Mike Waters, his north and south run game are on point. The guy hits the hole, he initiates contact, he runs through would-be arm tacklers, and he picks up yards at that second and almost third level of the defense.
Talik Bethea from the shotgun drops back. He wants to throw the ball. He's going to be sacked back at the 40-yard line. They're going to lose 6 yards on the play as they put it down at the 41.
No drop-offs, no dumps, no hot routes for him on that play. Everything was vertical, it was covered well, so the kid didn't have an opportunity to find anybody deep.
Well, Howard also came strong on that one, and it really was their first pressure blitz of the game, if you think about it. They were coming after him on second down.
There's always the potential to blitz. You always have to have a hot route, and you can't have it when 4 guys are going deep.
Third down and 9, and they'll stop the play here on the snap as Howard came across the line of scrimmage. Let's see if they were drawn off or if they jumped off.
Offsides, defense number 38, unabated
This
to the
one
quarterback.
goes against Howard, so
5-yard
Delaware
penalty,
State
still
will
third
get
down.
the third down and 4 from their own 46.
If you're Talik Bethea, you got to read the defense too, guys. There's a whole lot of pressure on you. If you get past that initial rush of pressure, there's probably no linebackers back there accounting for you, which means you can pick up some yards running the ball.
He tried to set up in the pocket, and it just collapsed around him. Third down, Bethea, double clutch, throws. It is waiting for the indication from the officials, incomplete on the far sideline.
Fourth down for Delaware State.
Looked like he was trying to get it. It was Bazette Woodley trying to make his first catch of the game. And it was knocked loose as the ball thrown inside, and he was turned to the outside. He had to try to turn around and catch
They
it.
needed to just pick up 4 yards for the first down, but they went a little bit further than I think they needed to on that play.
4th down and 4. They'll go for it here from their 46-yard line. It's really all they can do if they give the ball back to Howard. Why Newton can run out about 5 minutes on them. Throw into the middle, incomplete. Trying to get it to Gross and off Trey Gross's hands.
I mean, they're difficult passes to catch because you have defenders on your back, but Howard's making those catches, and, we're just not. That's the difference in this game.
So the Howard Bison will get the ball back with 5:13 left to play at the Delaware State 46-yard line. And Kalen Newton could put more points on the board before it's over.
And they're going to probably try to go for it again. They're coming off of 3 consecutive losses, and they want to get, their team mentally prepared for the remainder of the season. All of their dreams are intact. They still can win the MEAC, and they still can win the Celebration Bowl. So they're going to try to, continue to move forward on Delaware State University.
Newton hands off on first down, and they run into the middle. A couple of holes open up, and through them goes Josiah Crute to the Delaware State 39-yard line. That's 7 yards on the gain, 2nd and 3.
If I was grading the defense and their effort today, Garrett, I have to give them a double B+ or an A- because, again, other than a couple of plays by cornerbacks, I thought they played a solid game plan today on the defensive side of the ball.
Give it to Crute again. Hit in the backfield, breaks the tackle, hit a second time in the backfield, and then finally pushed down from behind, and that pushed him up for a gain of yardage. Cavalcante gets up just a little bit gingerly. Pickup of a yard, 3rd down and 2. Yeah, I agree with the B+. I don't know if I can go to the A because there have been some defensive miscues. Part of them have been because they've been on the field so stinking long.
Right. At the end of the day, you're still required to play, at a certain level, regardless how many reps or plays that you're in.
High snap to Newton. Fakes the handoff. Tries to scramble in the backfield. He wanted to roll to his left and throw and fell down. So it'll bring up a 4th down and 11. That's a big loss on that play. Just because he lost his footing back there and fell down. And Howard will punt to Delaware State. They'll send Keenan Black down to inside his 15-yard line with 3.5 minutes left on the clock.
Black hasn't had an opportunity to return anything today. The kicking game has done a good job of kind of keeping him away from the ball. And, we'll see if they can do the same thing on this punt. But, Delaware State needs something. They need a spark. They need somebody to switch the momentum back to their side.
Under Isaiah Moore, standing way back. Hits this one well. It'll bounce at the 1 and then kick back, and now it rolls to the sideline, goes out of bounds at the 2. Nope, they're going to say it hit in the end zone. So it'll be a touchback. And a penalty marker down back at the 41-yard line, just in the area of the kick. Let's see what this is.
During the kick, holding, kicking team number 34. Penalty be 10 yards from the 20-yard line. First down.
All right, so the ball comes out to the 20, and then they'll step off 10 yards against Howard.
Immediate timeout.
To bring it out to the 30-yard line. And we have a break in the action here. A timeout on the field. Howard leads 24-9 with 3:01 left to play. You're watching MEAC football on ESPN3, and this is HSR.
Rookie.
The Hornets come to the line of scrimmage, 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line with just over 3 minutes left to play. Gary Lang, Mike Walker at Alumni Stadium in Dover, Delaware. Kalen Newton, by the way, 21 of 35 passing for 242 yards. Total offense for Howard, 382. Delaware State, just over 180 yards total offense. Here's Bethea throwing. And coming back, trying to catch the ball, thrown inside and short. Kawana Kali tried to slow up and make the catch diving, couldn't pull it in.
If you look at that last pass play, everybody was about 5 yards past the first down marker. So that means those passes, had they all had been complete, would have been above the 15-yard range. We got a lot of weapons out there on the field right now, and they kind of got to get the ball as quickly as possible. So sometimes the little 5-yard stops, the 5-yard outs, the 5-yard slants, that's the type of passes that Delaware State needs to focus on.
There are some players out there for Delaware State who can pick up the yards after the catch, too. Pass intended for Trey Gross. And inside, tight coverage. Gross got up wanting a flag, but no, I don't think so. That ball just wasn't thrown well again.
The defenders are pretty much, meeting the receivers at the point where the ball is being targeted. And, it's almost like they've done their homework in film because they know exactly where these receivers are going to be.
3rd and 10 as the incomplete pass stops the clock. Mike Waters sets up in the slot on the right side. Bethea, pressure coming from his right. He'll step out and throw left side, and it's Colley on the reception. First down, Hornets at the 45-yard line. Stepped out of bounds after making the catch. And I'm not sure that was intentional. It did have the effect of stopping the clock, though, for Delaware State. Kwana Colley has had a very good game. One of the bright spots of the game offensively. They give it to Waters. Waters through the middle, grabbed from behind, and that was Mason Jordan grabbing a hold. It looked like Mason Jordan. Now check that. It was Darian Brockenberg grabbing a hold of the back of Waters' jersey to try to slow him up. Waters still got up to the 43 of Howard and got a first down. Bethea on first down. Throwing downfield. It is incomplete over the head of Trey Gross. He tried to go up and make that great backward catch, but unable to get it.
Yeah, the time of the leap and where the ball actually got to him just a little bit off.
Yep.
He's down the field, so he got up really early, but the ball hadn't arrived yet. So, again, it's just one of those situations where the targets are really deep, and those are the passes that are really hard to complete.
Tough to get that timing when you're going full speed downfield. Here's Waters up the middle to the 38-yard line, a gain of 5 on the play. When you're going full speed downfield, and now all of a sudden you've got to turn around and leap to get all that together with the footwork and the timing. When you see a guy make a catch like that, you know he's done something special. 2nd and 10, Bethea on the quick out, complete. And this one gets to Charles Peeler on the right side. Peeler's going to be close to the first down. And where they're going to mark his forward progress at the 31-yard line, looks like he has it.
Yeah,
they'll put the ball down at the 32, but he got the first down.
4th and 10 for your Hornets.
Now it's Bethea on the shotgun snap, throwing, and just behind Vizette Woodley. He tried to slow up and make the catch, but thrown just a little bit too far behind him. Incomplete, 2nd down. This is the best the Hornets have moved the ball since their opening drive of the game. But I think we're seeing a little bit of prevent defense from Howard as well.
Yeah, Howard's just trying to keep everything in front of him at this point. They understand that the score and the time really benefits them.
2nd and 10. Pressure. Bethea dumps it off. And he'll get knocked down in the backfield at the same time as the ball falls incomplete out in an area of the football field where nobody was standing.
Penalty flag on the play.
Yeah, they're going to get him.
Going to get roughing the passer.
Intentional
you gotta
grounding,
get intentional
offense
grounding.
number 12.
Oh, yeah, intentionally
There's
grounded.
no intended receiver in the area. Lost it down at the spot of the foul.
No
3rd down.
receivers in the area. And it puts the ball back on the 50-yard line. Bethea just threw that one. He did throw it where nobody could pick it off, but he also threw it where there wasn't a receiver anywhere close. So he gets called for the penalty. It's 3rd down and 28 for Delaware State with 1:16 left on the clock. Bethea looks to the sideline. Gets the play. Gives it to his teammates. And steps back on the shotgun. They'll go with a screen play to Waters. Waters eludes one tackler, but is taken down at the 43-yard line of Howard. They needed to get to the 22, so it's 4th down.
Down for Delaware State.
With the amount of time left in the game, even though it's 4th down and long yardage, less than a minute to play, the offense will remain on the field and go for it.
It's going to be a tough loss for Delaware State University, and this could even challenge on some levels the cohesiveness of their team. And we're talking the cohesiveness between units. The defense is going to feel like they did a really good job today, and the offense may not feel that way.
Bethea takes the snap. He'll be sacked as he just had nobody open to throw to. Got hit at the 48-yard line, a loss of yardage, and that could well finish it off. As we're down now to 27 seconds left to play. Well, the clock stops because that was 4th down, so they'll stop the clock on the change of possession. And the clock will not start until the ball is snapped. So Howard will have to snap it once, and they'll probably come out here and go into the victory formation.
And rightly so. They played a good game today, Gary. You know, they struggled offensively as well. They faced a very good Delaware State University defense. But, you know, because they have that experienced quarterback and, you know, he's a 4-quarter QB. So whether he starts off slow or fast, you know, his head and his ability are always going to be in the game. And we're still a young team on the offensive side of the ball, still searching for our identity. Got to figure out what we do well. Do we pass well? Do we run well? We just got to figure out what we are and establish something.
Newton rolls left side looking. He's going to then slide down. And he's hit by a Hornet after he slides down, gives himself up. A penalty marker flies, and that's going to be unnecessary roughness on Delaware State, and it stops the clock with 17 seconds to go. What a needless penalty.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct foul, defense, number 27. Correction, number 7. 15-yard penalty. The end of the run. 1st down.
Newton gave himself up, slid, with a whole lot of tacklers around him. And you know, you could make an argument, well, he was on the way to make the tackle. How do you pull off? But the fact remains that the quarterback slid, and you can't hit him after they do that.
Yeah, and they really, you know, they look to penalize you if the quarterback is getting into that sliding motion and you hit him.
7 seconds. Thank you.
Situation with a pro game this past weekend where the quarterback dove, and they said he was giving himself up. Now they go victory formation. Newton with a 1st down and 2. And he just let the clock run out. They didn't even have to snap the ball. Howard wins this one at Delaware State and ruins homecoming for the Hornets. The Bison 24, and Delaware State 9. And we'll take this break and be back in just a moment. Watching MEAC football on ESPN3. This is HSR and the voice of HBCU sports.